You're all on camera now. Everybody knows you're here. No, you can't see it. It's living now. That's right. Facebook Live, YouTube. See, Maayon, even if no one is here, every shir is for the entire world. Okay, so it's Parshas Tazria Metzorah, and on the Monday night shir we were learning about the uniqueness of the Adam, the name Adam. Adam, it says, when it speaks about Negoyim, about the Nega, it says that it's an Adam. It happens to, the Torah introduced with Adam, and we mentioned then that Adam, the Alter Rebbe says, means Ish Hamayla, a person on a very high level. So this mimer over here from the Rebbe Rashab, because we learned already all the discourses in Likutei Torah, on Parshas Tazria Metzorah. So I chose a mimer from the Rebbe Rashab in the year Tafresh Ayin Tes. And over there, in this mimer, he discusses the various different levels of Adam, Ish, Enosh, and Gever. Now there is a Hayom Yom about this, where it gives the I don't remember, I didn't get a chance to look it up quickly before this year, but it talks about the various different milos, the different types of names that a human being has. And over there I think he explains that Adam is the shleimus of moichin. The person has complete moichin, complete intelligence, which is the true quality of a human being, is the intelligence. And when someone has perfect intelligence, obviously perfect intelligence, which brings about a perfection in their midos as well, that's called an Adam. An Ish is someone who's got perfection in their midos. Their midos are strong and refined and in the right way, holy midos. Enosh is weakness, is referring to someone who has a deficiency in his midos, maybe in his moichin as well. Obviously, moichin is a higher level than midos. Intellect is higher than emotion. So the person is Enosh. Enosh is weakness. Gever is the person who is working with his Enosh state to fix it. Gever means his Gabrus. So Gever, there's 4 names to a human being. One of them is Gever. So the Gever is the person who realizes that he's an Enosh. Enosh means he's weak, and that he's the state of his Gabrus. He's working with himself. He's doing with himself to become a stronger person. So the Gever works with the Enosh to make him into an Ish and eventually into an Adam. Basically to become a real mensch. So this mimer is very, very geschmack in the defining this idea. Probably that Hayom Yom, which is a statement from the Friediger Rebbe, which describes Bekitzer, these 4 madregas, is rooted in this mimer, maybe another mimerim as well, but okay. So the parsha, it talks about various different negoyim, and then the Torah talks about someone going bald. The ish ki yamarei roishoy in Parshas Tazria, not in Parshas Metzorah, in the first parsha. It says the ish ki yamarei roishoy. What is ki yamarei roishoy? If a person goes bald, his hair in his head falls out. So this person is hairless. So it says kereyachu, and that person is bald. You shouldn't think that because his hair has fallen out, that will make him tameh. There might be an indication that because he's lacking his hair, similar like some other kind of a skin disease, which therefore he should be tameh. Pasuk is saying no. The ish and a person, ki yamarei roishoy, when his hair falls out, tahir, he is tahir. Now, if you notice, in the beginning of the parsha of Negoyim, when it talks about, introduces the concept of a nega, it doesn't use the term ish. It begins with Adam. So we start with Adam, but now a person has an affliction of a nega, and now suddenly the Torah turns and uses the term ish. So why the change? So basically what the Rebbe is going to explain in the Maimer is that an Adam is supposed to have hair. A person who has reached that, developed himself to the level of being considered Adam, is a very, very high level human being. A person like that needs hair. Like Aaron HaKohen had hair on his beard. We make a big deal about Aaron's beard. It's a very, very positive thing. Quite on the contrary, our only access to that great human being is primarily through his hair. And that's the Madrega of Kohanim, the Madrega of Be'ikr of Aaron HaKohen. That's why the Kohanim didn't have to shave their hair. But then a person who's an Ish, he's not an Adam, for him it's better that his hair falls out. That's why you better all become an Adam quickly. Or else then, in other words, for an Ish, it's not good to have hair. Because an Ish is a person who's, even though he's developed in his midos, he's rectified in his emotions, he has healthy, godly, holy emotions, but because of his moichen being moichen de katnos, because of his intelligence being considered still limited intelligence, immature mind, a little bit of his hair, which would mean his hashpah, his influence coming through what hair represents. We learned it many times that hair represents a very minuscule type of a hashpah. That kind of a hashpah can be damaging from a person who's an ish. From a person who's an adam, quite on the contrary, we need to sit around and connect to his hair. Simple example that's given in Chassidus in many places is whether you should listen to the simple chatter of a person. When people are talking idle chatter means they're not speaking Torah, they're not speaking wisdom. They're speaking worldly things. So it depends who's the one who's speaking it. If it's the Baal Shem Tov saying worldly stories about horses and wagons, you should pay a lot of attention. We know famous stories when the Maggid came to the Baal Shem Tov and the great tzaddikim came. The Baal Shem Tov didn't initially reveal big secrets of the Torah to the Holy Maggid. He told stories about horses and hay and straw and all the other things that the horse. And the Maggid was getting very frustrated why the Baal Shem Tov is. He didn't realize, he thought the Baal Shem Tov is an ignorant person speaking about such silly things. He's a Holy Maggid, big scholar. But what the Baal Maggid didn't realize, that contained in those what seemed to be silly, idle chatter, simple stories, is really the deepest secrets, the highest and innermost secrets of the Torah. So if so, why couldn't the Baal Shem Tov just reveal the secrets? The answer is the Maggid couldn't handle those secrets if it was given directly. It had to be given through these through the stories, where the stories are considered like hair, because they're coming from him, but they're not the direct flow of wisdom. It's a very minuscule hashpah. But if you have people sitting in a bar and they're talking idle chatter, and you go sit down because you want to be inspired and take this, from people like that, their idle chatter is silly. Not only that, people are not only sitting in a bar, but just ordinary people, or even if they're smart people, but they're not the Baal Shem Tov or huge tzaddikim, and when they speak words, just everyday conversation, there's nothing to learn over there. If they're teaching something, there's something to learn. But if they're not teaching something, they're just stam talking, there's nothing to learn. So that's the idea, that the level of here depends on which level we're talking. From an Adam, here is a good thing. From an Ish, his hair can be dangerous. Not only isn't it good, it's bad. That's why the pasuk is saying, Ki Ish, someone who's a level of Ish, Ki Yamaret Noishay, if he goes bald and his hair falls out, which means he gets rid of the concept of hair. We'll soon see what that means in his life. Tahir, that's good. He's tahir, he's pure. And that's his level. His level is the level of tahara, which is interesting. The Levium are on that level of Ish. The Levium are not called Adam, the Levium are Ish. And that's why the Levium Taka had to shave their hair in order to be inaugurated into their job as being Levium. And not only that, it says by the Levium that v'tiharta you should be metahir them, which means that which level do the Levium achieve? They connect to the level of tahara, purity, but they don't reach the level of kedusha, which kedusha is only for Kohanim. So it comes out over here. Those that are connected to the transcendental levels of the divine, of the Eibishter, like Kohanim, they're plugged in very high, the very high tzaddikim, for them, and therefore they're connected to the level of Kedusha. From Kedusha, we need here, because it's too intense. If the energy is flowing from there, not through the here, it will electrocute us. It's too intense. We will blow a fuse, or blow the mind. So we need them to communicate dafka through here. But people, Levium, that are connected to the level called tahara, pure but not holy, it's very, very high level, the Levium, but it's still only the level of tahara. It's not the ultimate transcendental level. By them, the here not only isn't it positive, it's actually negative. Not only is it unnecessary, because they don't have to be mashpia through their here, they need to be mashpia direct. If they are being mashpia through their here, it can be a damaging hashpa. And that's why for them it's actually better that they remove their here, and tahari, that's the level of tahara. That's the conclusion of the mimer. But now he's going to develop this idea, what is the Adam, Enosh, Ish, and Gever. So those who want cholent already, because you learned the mimer, you can go get it. Here we go. Ish ki yamarit roishay karechu tahirhu. V'tzarech lahav, we need to understand it. Ne'ma nemar kan ish. How come dafka over here does it introduce this type of a situation of the person going bald, and the Torah refers to them as ish? In the beginning of the parsha of Negoyim, nemar Adam, it says Adam. Ki yiyeh ba'or b'sarai, an Adam that there will be. Ne'ma nemar kan v'ish ki yamaret. So how come over here does it say v'ish ki yamaret, the man, a person called ish? V'hinei b'zoyar isa. Now in Zoyar it says sheyesh daled madregos. There are 4 levels of human. All 4 are human, but 4 levels of human. Enosh, Gever, Ish, and Adam. These 4. Like we see Enosh, Anoshim. Gever, we say Gevarim. Ashrei HaGever. Chazal a lot of times use the word Ashrei. The Pasuk says Ashrei HaGever. Ish, we have all the time. And then we have Adam. So it says like this. Le'elo mekulu Adam. Higher than all of them is the level called Adam. Shuhu b'china shleimus, which the Adam is the perfect, the level of perfection. Klala, what's his shleimus? His shleimus is that he's klala, he's koilul everything, he includes everything. What's his inclusion? The tchar v'nukva, male and female. Because when Hashem created Adam, he created him as a man and a woman together. And then later he separated Chava to separate her. So what do you see? And then he called him Adam. When did he call him Adam? He called him Adam when he was still a unit of man and woman together. So that shows you that the idea of Adam is an escalalus of opposites. Men are from Mars, and women are from men are from Venus, and women are from Mars, or the opposite. What it is. So there are 2 different worlds. And yet, to have one unit that includes both of them together, that's a real shleimus. And that's when you're called Adam. Where you find this, that dafka, because of this hiskalalos, of this integration, is what we called Adam. It says in the pasuk, Zachar u'nekeva bara, male and female he created them. Vayikra shemam Adam, he called them together Adam. And later when it becomes specific, Adam is Adam and Chava is Chava, when it gets specified. But really, it doesn't say Vayikra shmoi Adam, he called his name Adam, he called their name, Adam and Chava together, he called them Adam. And he blessed them. And so the Zohar is saying more. Not only do they achieve the level of Adam only when there's a chiskalalos, when they're integrated from opposite things, but more than that, only when they come together, that's when they get the bracha. Only when there's in a state of shleimus. That's why we know that the real bracha only comes to a person only when they're married. Until the person doesn't get married, there's a lack of blessing. That's why under the chuppah, when you go under the chuppah, that's when we make sheva brachas. Suddenly we bombard the person with blessings. Because the blessing comes when it's a asar shlim, when it's a complete place. And what's an asar shlim? A unit of man and woman. The less b'chasar sharia, because the bracha does not dwell basar rekana. in an empty place, ela b'asar shlim, in a perfect place. Now let's understand something. A rekondige place doesn't mean a place of a mum chas v'shalom, that there is a defect. A man himself, a woman alone doesn't have a defect. When we say shleimus can mean whole, but shleimus can mean more than a whole. It can be perfect. So you can be whole, but not perfect. Perfect is only when there is a perfection of inclusion of everything, man and woman together. Shezeu b'chinas Adam, this is the level of Adam, klala d'char v'nukva, a level that is koilel, that includes male and female. Well, that's the highest level from the four, Adam. Ulamata mekulam, and below all the levels is Enosh, is the level called Enosh. Like it says, Mo Enosh kisis kerenu. What is an Enosh? How do you know that Enosh is the lowest form of humanity? Well, when the Malachim complained, why do you make such a big deal about humans? And they said, why create the human? Who did they pick on? They didn't want to say, why did you create an Adam? Because an Adam is very impressive. So what did they say? They said those Anoshim, Mo Enosh, who is an Enosh that you should make, that you should bear him in mind, you should think about him, you should make him important. The Malachim Dafka are highlighting the Enosh, that element within the human being that's weak and undeserving for godly. Mo Enosh kisis kerenu, the Malachim shekitrgu, because the Malachim that were makatrik al briyas Adam. Because of my lack of because of my pain I have in my back, I usually, when I give a shir with all my limbs. But because I'm a little bit less mobile with all my limbs, so I'm using my head the whole time. I'm shaking my head, and I'm just getting a stiff neck. So I have to figure out exactly how I'm going to work this shir over here. The Hamalach, I can't give a shir just with my mouth. Doesn't work. The Hamalachim shekitrgu al briyas Adam, and the Malachim that were mekatrik, that they were prosecuting, or they were accusing the creation of man. Omru, they said, Ma enosh kisis kerenu. What is an enosh? V'agam shenemar sham gamke. Even though the Rebbe is asking, what are you talking about? Can't say they only criticize the enosh element of the human species, because they mention right afterwards uben Adam, and the son of man ki, right? Uben Adam ki sif kedenu, and the son of man, that you should be pokedim, you should remember him. So the Rebbe says that they're not criticizing Adam, they're criticizing Ben Adam. Ben Adam is not Adam. Adam is Adam. Ben Adam is a guy who says, my tate, my zayde was, okay, your zayde was a chassid. And what's his medir? And what's with you? So that's the Ben Adam. The Tosfos Taka makes a chilik. Hine b'Tosfos b'Avodah Zarah Dav Gimel Lamed Aleph, in Tosfos and Avodah Zarah Dav Gimel Lamed Aleph, the Ramaschal Kahanim, Mechalik, the Tosfos makes a differentiation between Adam and Bnei HaAdam. That Adam is referring only to the Jewish people. Bnei HaAdam, whenever it says Bnei HaAdam, it refers to all of humanity. So you see, Bnei Adam doesn't carry that unique quality that Adam is. So they would have never criticized Adam. When the Malachim criticized, they criticized Enosh. And Bnei Adam, fine. The Adam, Koyal Yisroel. Adam is referring to the Jewish people. Adam, Atem, you are called Adam. As Chazal say, Atem Kruyim Adam, you are called Adam. Ubnei Adam, and the Bnei Adam, Hainu Bnei Adam Arishan, these are the children of Adam Arishan. Shebechlal Zeh Akum Gamkim, which this includes the Gentile as well. All people. What's the difference? Okay, so what do we see from here now? The highest is Adam, the lowest is Adam, and the lowest is Enosh. In between the Enosh and the Adam is the Gever. In between is the Gever and the Ish. The Adam. What's the difference between Ish? Now we have Ish. What's considered Ish? What's the difference between Ish and Adam? The Ish who lashon Ish. Ish means it's a person who's on fire. He's got his fire. He's got Ish. Now, when we're dealing with being on fire, we're dealing with a holy fire. A person is has a powerful. We're soon going to see. He brings an example of this holy fire. He brings a fellow by the name of Ben Azai. Ben Azai was burning up for God every moment. When he learned Torah, he was surrounded by a godly fire. But that doesn't make him an Adam. It makes him an Ish. So Ish is also a very high madrega. The Levium were a very high madrega. They were fiery. But the problem with him is he only has fire. He has passion. He has Eish. He has fire in his slavos and passion. In that mime. Even though this is a high level. The Ish, because Ish is not stam fire. It has a Yud inside. Eish Yud. And the Yud is from Hashem's name. The Eish Yud. Tahainu, what does that mean? This person his neshama is on fire for what? He wants to cleave to God. He wants to connect to Hashem. He wants to the point like Nadav and Avihu that wanted to leave their bodies. Problem is they're one-track minded. They're driven by this fire, and they don't have this balance to be able to be driven by a fire. And at the same time, mamash what we spoke about on Monday night, when a person has energy of transcendence but doesn't bring it down into daily living. So this is the fire. This fire is, basically their fire is out of control. They don't have the balance of water and fire, and chesed and gevura. The Miley is going to explain of the Adam. What did we say Adam? Adam means someone who's behiskalalus. Behiskalalus means they incorporate opposites. And the primary opposites that you have to incorporate is fire and water. So the person has a healthy dose of fire, a healthy dose of passion, but they have enough moichen de gadlos, enough broadness of mind to appreciate and understand that the purpose is not the passion. The purpose is to be motivated by the passion and then actually do something with that passion and make a difference in this world. But people that are just caught up in their passion, even if it's holy passion, it's a certain one-track mindedness, and that's deficiency. These are people that are in one kav. Then, if so, by the way, if this is the explanation of what Adam is, you can ask a big kasha. Then how could the Adam get its aras? If Adam means someone who's well balanced, and therefore l'chura he has the rotzai and the shuv, he has the rotzai, the racing energy of a fire, and the shuv. How does he get a nega? A nega is, as we said earlier, is an imbalance where your rotzai is too strong and you're not meticulous. We spoke on the Monday class. You're not meticulous to fill your life with godly content because you're just too excited about what's up there and you're not really so involved with what's happening down here in your everyday decisions, in your momentary little moments of life and the little crumbs of expression. You're not so careful. But an Adam l'chura should have that. So how come by tzaras it says Adam, and the Alter Rebbe says because he's an Adam, that's why he has tzaras, because he's in such a high madrega, so therefore he can come to a state where he has only ratzai without shuv. L'chura that contradicts the inyan that he's saying in this mimer. I don't have the answer. It's just a good thing that I'm just noticing right now that I'm asking the question. This is your homework for you to be able to figure out. The Adam, but what's an Adam who is skalalus? An Adam is a hiskalalus. What's his hiskalalus? Cheder. Cheder stands for chesed, din, and rachamim. That's cheder. In other words, he incorporates not just the fire, which is din, but he also has chesed. He has the water. He has the ability to come down, to channel his energy into productive activities, actions, bringing it down into vessels. And also compassion. Chesed din rachmim, which is chesed gevura teferes, which is all the colors, the unification of all of that. That's Adam. Shazeu tachlis hashleimus, which that's the tachlis hashleimus. Pchines is kalalus, which is the incorporation of everything. Uba'avas dereb nasin, now to prove this idea, that the uniqueness of an Adam is that he is skalalus of everything. So earlier he already said that Adam has a skalalus because you see that he includes male and female. Now he's going to show that it's more inclusive. He actually includes everything in the world. Everything in the world is included in the human being. In the one that's called Adam. And Adam is someone who has all of creation incorporated in him. Uba Avis dereb nasin. And in the Sefer Avis, in the Mishnah of Adam, the Bryce of Avis dereb nasin Isa. Sha'adamu oilam katan, that an Adam is a small world. Lefisha koilel hakoil, because he includes everything. Chol ma'asha bara kadosh baruch hu ba'oilam bara ba'adam. Everything that Hashem created in the human being, Hashem created in the human. Everything is created in the human being. So the human being has and that what the officer of Nassim goes through. It says there are rivers, and a human being has blood, the arteries. That's the rivers. There are forests in the world. The human being has hair. That's your forest, and so on and so on and so forth. Everything that there is in the world is also in what's it called again? In the human. V'amroi Adam. But what? It's interesting. When Chazal say that the human being incorporates the entire world, they don't say it about Ish. They don't say it about Enosh. They use the term Adam, because Dafka, the element of Adam, is really the one that has this iskalus. Shah Adam, Dafka the Adam, who shekalol. He's the one. In other words, not the human species in terms of just the human being, someone who's born from a human mother and a human father. I'm talking about that. Not a bnei ha'adam. I'm talking about someone who's on a level of Adam. They include everything. They include everything inside of them. V'adam arishayin shenivra nikra b'kasa b'shem Adam. And Adam arishayin that was created. It's interesting. He probably means Adam Arishan Shenivra directly by Hashem. So what is he called? He's called Adam, the Lo Ish. Why is he called Adam, not Ish? Because Adam is the perfect human, the human that incorporates all of existence. And when God created man, God created the perfect man. Later we futched and we botched up and we couldn't reproduce the perfect man. Until Mashiach comes and it'll be again back the Adam. But until then, we're still levels of Ish. Now, the second generation already lost the level of Adam. Because when Cain was born, what did Chava say when she named him? Konisi Ish Esa Elokim. I partnered with God to create an Ish. Oh, she doesn't say I created an Adam. She herself realized that what she produced is not a replica of Adam Arish, of the creation of God. No, we've lost it. Adam was an Adam, and Cain is an Ish, not an Adam. And take it further, you'll say, okay, because Cain was a sinner, he was a murderer, okay, fine. No. How about Noach? Many years later, and he's the tzaddik, he saved the world. It says Noach Ish tzaddik. It doesn't call him Adam. That means even Noach, who was a tzaddik, never came back to Adam. The Bekayin, Ksiv by Cain, it says Knisi Ish. Uben Noach Nemar, and by Noach it says Ish tzaddik, he was an Ish tzaddik. Actually, by Avram Avinu it says Adam Hagadol Ba'anakim, the giant Adam. That's what it says. By Avram it says Adam. Generally, and that's why the Jewish people, children of Avram Avinu, again are called Adam. Atam Kriyam Adam. We're called Adam. Relative to Levium, Kehanim, but within the Jewish people in general, the Yidden are called Adam. Why is it that Adam was created as an Adam? Because when the Eibishter created the world, he created the world in a perfect state. That's what the Gemara says. The world was created in its perfect state, and later damage was done to it. But essentially, the world was in its perfect state. That's why the human being was created in the perfect state. When he was created, he was an Adam. Okay, so now what do we have? That you see from here that Adam is included male and female, that you see from the Pasuk. From the Avos to Rab Nosson, we see that Adam includes all creatures that there is in the world. Not all creatures, all creations. But it's still, what kind of creations? The physical creations. Now he's going to bring the Medrash, adding something more. Not only does the human being include within himself all the physical creations, like I said earlier, the forests, the rivers, the oceans, all the animals, all creates, but the human being also incorporates the spiritual realms. The malachim and the like, they're also in the human. So the human is the motherboard that includes all of existence. He brings that. And Medrash it says, that the human being is kalul from the upper and the lower. So that there shouldn't be a kina, there shouldn't be an envy and a jealousy in Ma'aseh Bereishis in the work of creation. Because one day Hashem created light, which is from the heaven. The next day Hashem Yikavu Maayon, that's on the earth. So next day He created, the Medrash keeps saying every day God created one day from up in the heavens, the other day on earth. And then there would be an imbalance if an Adam would be either one. So what did Hashem do? He created the Adam, including the upper and the lower. And then the Medrash goes on to say how the human being has elements of above, spiritual elements, and elements from below, physical elements. Which this all leads us to the idea that the human being, the one that's called human, Adam, he includes everybody. And even more than this, when God created the man, his body is created to be the lowest. He's now going to differentiate between the body of the human being and the body of all other creatures. Our human body is the lowest form of physicality possible. Animals also have a body, but their body is more refined than our bodies. A human being has a task on hand to take this very, very, very coarse body. That's what we find interesting. Behema and chayas don't have such tumah that a human being has, susceptible to tumah. An animal never becomes tummy when he's alive. When he's dead, a carcass of an animal is tummy. There's no tumah to an animal. A human being's body is always susceptible to tumah. This happens, that happens. There's always tumah. Why? The human body is lower than every other body. If so, why did the Eibishter give the human being such a low body? The answer is because the Eibishter gave him such a high soul. And it's no kunz for a neshama to rectify a halfway rectified thing. Not a big deal. I'm going to give you some really, really rough material, and I'd like you to fix that because you can take on the challenge. So he's going to develop the idea that the Alter Rebbe develops in a Maimer and Bereshis, that the human being is an interesting creature. Mitzad his neshama, he's the highest of his high. And mitzad his body is the lowest of the low. It's like the famous letter where the Friediger Rebbe says that Chassidim dafka have coarse bodies. That means other people those who don't have Chassidus were not created with such coarse bodies. Chassidim dafka, it's a famous dafka letter. The Eibishter created dafka, the Chassidim, with the most difficult children. And their bodies are like impossible. And boom, 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 boom. And the Eibishter dafka wanted. Why? That dafka comes in neshama and takes such a dark body and so on and so forth. And if you have Chassidus, you have so much more empowerment. So therefore, you got to deal with a much bigger Yetzirah, So that's the difference also with the animals. The animals, he explains that their bodies are not doimeim. There are 4 different types. There's the mineral, the domain. There's the tzemeach, there's vegetation. There is chai, animal, and there is human. 4 levels of creations. Domain, tzemeach, right? There is domain, tzemeach, chai, and medaber. So it's interesting. Animals are chai, but that's their nefesh. Their body, we would think, is domain. It's a carcass. When they die, it's a dead carcass. No. Their bodies are tzemeach. And tzemeach means a vegetation, a plant. A plant is a more edeler creature. It has more, anything that has more chayus is more edel. A tzemeach has a little more of an edelkeit, a little more of an elegance than a doimim, than an inanimate, than a mineral, than a stone. Animals have a certain elegance to them. Their bodies, in what sense? Because when the Eibishter created the first animal, the animal was created together with their soul. And more than that, it says they grew out from the ground. Toitzei haaretz. Hashem didn't make it from the earth sprouted forth nefesh chaya. So that just like plants and vegetations. So it's interesting, think about it. Now, you think about it this way. When the earth gave forth trees, grass, think about it. The earth gave forth trees, grass, flowers, wheat, monkeys, elephants. These are all plants. It's just that in addition to them being plants, the Eibishter upgraded them with a nefesh that they should be a higher level and be a chai. But mitzad their bodies, they're already plant. When the Eibishter created the human body, he didn't tell the earth sprout forth a body. It didn't grow out like a tzemeach. The Eibishter took the mud itself, the earth itself, and turned it into a body. Vayitzer Hashem Elokim es ha'adam afar min ha'adama. The Eibishter made the human being from dead earth, his body. So you see that the human body is lower, but the human soul is the highest. So again, you see that in Adam you have escalalus. You have the vast extremes coming together. And that's a human. The human ability has to be able to be, the concept of a human is to be able to be balanced. And when people are extremists in any kinds of extremes, that's an ish. It can be fiery. That's not Adam. The quality of Adam is the ability to be able to be in the center. So now, the Shari Balachayim, because the other Balachayim are a gufam benafsham and b'chenes tzoymeach v'chai. Their guf and their nefesh is tzoymeach, the vegetation and the animal. The nafsham b'chenas chai, their nefesh is b'chenas chai, v'gufam b'chenes tzoymeach, and their body is tzoymeach. K'moshe Kasav, like it says, v'toitzei ha'aretz nefesh chaya, that the earth should give forth nefesh chaya, living soul, that the earth is giving forth. When they grew up, they were created already as full-fledged creatures in their full height. I don't know why this proves this idea that they're tzomeach, the fact that they were created in their full growth. And if they were created small, like a plant also grows, it's first small and it grows big. And why is this a proof to this idea that the tzivyoinam nivru? I'm not exactly sure. And the human who is not a tzemeach, is a daimim, was also created as a 20-year-old man. He wasn't created as a baby. So I'm not exactly sure what this what he wants with this Indian. Va'adam, but the human being, gufay hu daimim, his body is daimim, mineral. As it says clearly, Vayitzar Hashem Elokim es ha'adam, that the Eibishter formed the man, Afar min Adama, earth from the ground. Va'achakach, and only afterwards, Vayipach ba'apav nishmas chayim. The Eibishter blew into his nostrils the soul of life. B'chenes medaber, this is already the higher, it's a human soul. And the Alter Rebbe explains over there in that mimer this idea. He asked the question, why is the Adam different to him? Basically, he's emphasizing this idea that he mentioned earlier, that the human being is min al yoinim v'tachtoinim, the upper and the lower. So mitzad nishmasai, from his neshama, he's on the highest level. And mitzad aguf, from his body, he's on the lowest level. Is explained elsewhere. The human being includes all the madregas from the highest levels and the lowest levels. Not only that, he's going to add another thing. The human being also has a capacity of having all different types of emotional experiences. A human being is multifaceted in his emotional capacity. Animals are not that way. They're animals that exhibit characteristics of compassion or generosity and kindness, and they are animals that display characteristics of cruelty. And when an animal, and those species that are cruel are always cruel. They don't have the capacity of compassion. All creations, there's a lashon of the Rambam. They have one poil, one effect that they do. Or they do two things. A person can do many different things. Right? A person can switch careers in a certain point in their life. They're doing one thing, then they can do something completely different, and do something different. It's like they have capacity, a very broad range of capacity of different things. As explained by the Alter Rebbe and the Mimer and the beer of Ehena Fakayim. And this is why we say that in Kabbalah, in the spiritual realms as well, which level is referred to as Adam, in the sublime levels of godly emanations. There's lots and various levels upon levels. Which level is called Adam? The level called Adam Kadmon. Primordial man, that's called Adam. Why do we call Dafka Adam Kadmoin Adam? The answer is, Adam Kadmoin is an initial snapshot of everything that's going to be. It's the Machshava Echad. It's the one thought that is koilel all levels, everything in it, all malachim, srafim, maifanim, chayes hakodesh, all the way down to the things, netzalim, all the way down to the keser, all the way down to this physical stone. Everything, all of time and space, and all spiritual space, and everything from the beginning, it's all nichlal in Adam Kadmon. Since Adam is the madrega of his skalalus, skalalus means integration, incorporating everything. That's why Adam Kadmon is called Adam. Adam Kadmon, Nikra b'Shem Adam. Adam Kadmon Dafka is called Adam. She'ein shum partzif Nikra Adam. There isn't any configuration that's called Adam. Rak Adam Kadmon, only Adam Kadmon. Because this is the first primordial thought. Shekoil klolis ashtalshalis, that includes the entire ishtalshalis. And all the opposite madreges and echlalim kulam b'ashva, they're all equal, included in Adam Kadmon, as stated elsewhere. And that's why it's Adam, because Adam means shu b'chenes iskalalos. This is the iskalalos that incorporates everything. Ish hu b'chenes ischalkus. The concept of ish is already ischalkus when things get divided into something specific. And once you're dealing with specification, one thing is individual. It's only this, and it doesn't have. It's not my department. You come to someone in ish and you ask him to do something that is something outside of his box. He says, "It's not my department. Go speak to someone else." That's an ish. And Adam, he's the right man for everything. And so it is api Kabbalah. The issue b'chenes nekuda, the level called nekudais, the dots. When godliness is expressing itself as one intense sphera, one intense inyan, that's called the nekuda. And Adam u'pchenes partzov. Adam is when there's a configuration. A configuration is when there's a bunch of spheres coming together to form a unit. It's called an Adam. Even though we said before Adam Kadmon is called Adam, but within Atzilus, for instance, we say that the entire Esa spheres together is called Adam. Why? Because it's a partzov. Partzov is a configuration where they're all integrated one with each other. By the way, this is part of what we're saying is the avoid of Sfiras Ha'omer. Sfiras Ha'omer is that we have to become an Adam. Because the Eibishter is going to give the Torah to who? Torah is called Adam. Torah is called Zaisa Torah's Adam, because Torah is also his skalalus. The Torah includes in itself Gevura and Chesed, Eish and Mayim, every kind of subject, every single thing, spiritual elements, physical. Torah is everything. It's Hakol Boy. And therefore it can only be given to someone who's an Adam. But when we went out of Mitzrayim, we were still on a level of Behema. And we needed to, or Ish, if anything. And we needed to work our way up to be an Adam. Sfiras Ha'omer is, what do we work on? We work on creating balance in all of our emotions. It's not just about fixing the individual emotion, it's about creating symmetry and synchronization between the emotions and harmonizing the human being as a complete unit. The Adam ubchenes parts of the skalalus riboy apratim, to include the riboy, all the differences, all the details, all come together. Kamoi bchenes toyu v'tikun, like the concept of toyu and tikun. So what do we say? What's the difference between toyu and tikun? In toyu, there's only extremes. That primordial world that the Eibishter initially emanated, in which we say when the Eibishter created the world, that the worlds, he was a boina oilamam oilamoisa machrivam. The Eibishter created the worlds and he destroyed them. So in Chassidus it explains, before Hashem created our world, the Medrash says God created the world and he destroyed them. Chassidus says it doesn't mean that there were physical worlds that Hashem created and then he blasted them. That's not what he did. In Chassidus it explains that this is referring to the element of Hashem emanating spherois, attributes, but the attributes couldn't handle the light, and they were too intense, and also they clashed with each other. And because they clashed with each other, they exploded. And then Hashem created a new set of kelim, of spherois. And over here, he already balanced everything to work in a way of harmony. And that's olam atikun. What's the difference then between toyu and tikun? In toyu, everybody is doing their own thing. There is no consideration of something other than what it sees. Toyu is one-track minded, and tikun is the ability of its skalalus. The Toyu ubchenes nekudos, and that's why it says in Kabbalah that in Toyu the spheroids were all nekudos, zeh tachazeh. They didn't align themselves as a parts of, as a configuration. Chesed, Gevura, Teferes in the middle. It was Chesed, below it Gevura, below it Teferes, and each one stood on their own, and each one was intolerant of anything else. It couldn't tolerate anything else. Shehem b'chenes ischalkus. That's why it was an ischalkus. V'tikun b'chenes iskalalus. And tikun is Adam, and that's iskalalus, an integration of everything together. Kamoy came b'tikun, and the same is also in tikun itself. There is ish and Adam. So what's the ish? The ish is the toyu in tikun. In Tikkun, there's still remnants of Toyu. There's still the idea. And that is, in Tikkun itself, there are extremists. And we're living in a world of Tikkun, and yet there is such extremism in this world. Intolerance. But these are all still connected to Toyu. So in Tikkun, there is Ubchenas Ish v'Adam. There is Ish and Adam. V'zeu HaHefresh gives an example. I'm saying even in Kedusha, it's not just in Chas v'Shalom, you say, the Shviras HaKelim, and it creates extreme elements in the world, but even in Kedusha, in the Olam HaTikun, there is Ben Azai. Ben Azai and Rabbi Akiva. The difference between Ben Azai and Rabbi Akiva. Both of them lived at the same period. They were both tremendous Talmudic scholars, very big tzaddikim. But Ben Azai was just one ball of fire. His name Azai means intense. He was an extreme, he's very intense. And he didn't have any calmness to him. That's why he never got married, because he couldn't tolerate a woman. He just wanted to learn and connect to God, not have any distractions. And when he learned, and when he went up, and when he went into Pardes, he started learning the secrets of the Torah. He passed out. He died because he didn't restrain himself. He was just one track. The Ben Azai b'chenas eish. Ben Azai was fire. Kedis b'medrash Rabbah, it says in Medrash Rabbah Shir Hashirim. The Be'esh Yadoirish, at the time when he was darshaning Oya Eish Mislahat the Svivav, there was a fire that was burning around him. He was in a state of Ratzai, racing towards the Yebishter. The Ben Azai hits it to mace. Ben Azai glanced, he looked higher, and it was so pleasurable and so delightful, he just died in the ecstasy of that experience, the same like Nadav and Avihu. And that's called one-track-minded. And Bechlali says everything that's in a kav echad, only in one, not in two, is always ratzai, which is a strange thing, because you can say, I understand, kav echad is one kav. What's the kav? One kav is chesed, the other kav is gevura. So we would think, I understand, gevura is what? Is ratzai. Especially if you have no water, and you have no water to dose the fire. So the fire is burning and you have nothing to cool it down and to settle the fire down. It's ratzai. It's like, wow. But I would think that if you're extreme chesed, you're extreme giving, and channeling down, then what? That's not ratzai. But the MS is that's also a form of ratzai. Because ratzai means you're not considering the keli. You're intense. You're not considering, and when you're just giving, you're overwhelming the keli too. The chesed needs to pull back. So when it's just chesed without ratzai, it's again an inyan. It's just chesed without gevura. That too is an inyan of ratzai. So in other words, it's racing into yourself and not. That's what I think. I mean, obviously this can be explained in many ways. V'chol shebebchinas kav echad, and everything that's in a kav in one kav, harei zeh bebchinas ratzai. It's not ratzai, because not every kav is ratzai, but it's bebchinas ratzai. Liyoishu bebchinas gevurais, because the inyan of being in one kav means you're taking yourself very seriously. So that's an inyan of gevura. You're intense in yourself, whatever that intensity is. It can be an intensity to give, but that too is an intensity, so it's an inyan of gevur, it's an isgabrus of one inyan. For Rabbi Akiva, nechnas b'shalom, Rabbi Akiva entered in peace. The yatsa b'shalom, and he exited in peace. He went both ways. He entered into the shezau b'chenas eskalalus to tikkun. He has the eskalalus, he has that perfect blend of tikkun. V'zau b'chenas adam, and that's the level of adam. Shu b'chenas moichen. Now he adds already this idea, which we didn't have till now. He said Adam is a scholarless, but now he's giving the reason of the scholarless. What creates this integration in the Adam? What creates the integration in the Adam is the fact that Adam is the quality of moichin, of intelligence, of the mind. And the mind, when you add seichel, you add intellect to your experience, that's what creates the tolerance and the blending. When you allow the midas to just operate on their own fuel, and you're not tempering them with moichin, you're just allowing the midas to like run their own course. Even if they're good midas, they go out of, like a fire, it goes out of control. Because what are midas? Midas, the root of a midah is the I. I want. I'm excited. And therefore it's subjective. And therefore and that I can just get too intense. It's the intensity of the I. Moichin is what? Is bittul. What's moichin? Moichin is I need to consider the reality. It's not about me. It's not what I would like it to be. I have to consider what's the difference between an intelligent person and an emotional person. And an intelligent person, in every situation, wants to relate to the situation based on the facts. What are the facts? And based on that, we're going to decide what to do. An emotional reaction is not about the facts. It's about how I want to, how this pokes me. And that's how I'm going to react to it. My reaction to it can be the most unhealthiest reaction. I can be just making things much worse, but it's my reaction. It's a very unhealthy reaction. So, what the moichin do is the moichin make you be mavatal your I, mavatal yourself. It's not about you. What's the facts and what's the right approach? You're mavatal yourself. Oh, and then you realize I need to create a certain yamin mekareves, smoil doichet. I need to create a certain right approach over here where I'll have both together. So the moichin allows the eskalolus of the midas. That's why Sfiras HaOmer, the way we do Sfiras HaOmer, it's not just a tikkun in the midas. We say Hayoim Yoim, today is the day. And Yoim Yoim means we're shining light from the intellect, from the intelligence, because the moichin are called Yoim, day. We're shining the light of the seichel onto the emotions. That the emotions should not be natural emotions, the emotions should be intelligent emotions, informed emotions. And when the emotions are informed and intelligent emotions, they coexist with each other, they harmonize and they work with each other, as opposed to them being extremists. Which is moichin and a moichin de gadlos. This is called broad moichin. This is what we create a breita human being, a broad person. The ish. I saw an interesting thing. Someone sent today was Yom HaAtzmaut. So the from religious world has a there was how do we relate to this? Obviously, the whole founding of the state of Israel and so on and so forth, and its thing was not done with people that were considering the Torah as their guide to life. That's a fact, right? Everybody knows. So now, how do we relate once there is already a Medina and so on and over? Seif Kol Seif, Jews are in Eretz Yisroel and they're in a protected place. So obviously there's different opinions across the Jewish world and the religious Jewish world. But it's interesting that someone wrote something very geschmack about, let me just open this up a minute here. It was in the California here. Let me find it. It was a so geschmack. How the Rebbe's Indian in, hold on, let me just find it. Oh, here it was. He said, when the Rebbe, for instance, he says like this: Misha ba ma'olam ha'Torah, someone who came from the world of Torah, nidlak, right? Someone that came from the world of Torah, went on fire from seeing the Rebbe as a genius of geniuses. You learned Lakutei Sichas, you heard a Sicha, you heard him know, you're like the genius of the Rebbe. Someone who came from Chassidus, from the Chassidic world, who appreciated Tzidkis, a tzaddik, a holy yid, was captured by the Rebbe being a Rebbe, by him being a Baruch HaKodesh and so on, a tzaddik, Kodesh HaKadoshim, holy of holy. Someone who came from the world of Kanois. What's the world of Kanois? the world of zealots, someone who came from Meisharim and the Tirkarta type of a guy, and he examined the Rebbe a little bit. He was able to connect to the Rebbe because he saw the Rebbe was very, very intolerant. The Rebbe was a very big kanoi against the fundamental ideas of Zionism and the like, extreme in his kanoyishkeit. So he was drawn to that Inyan. The Rebbe was so against the concept of Eschalta de Geula, the beginning of the redemption through the Zionistic thing. And the Rebbe against it, Shein Kamayim, much more than the Aguda, much more than any. Those who came from the Beis Medrash of the Mizrahi, from Rav Kook and these people, they were blown away and captured by the Rebbe's Avas Yisroel, that he loved everybody, and he loved these very Zionistic soldiers, and he was able to be Makarev everybody, and also the leaders of Medinat Yisrael that would come to them, and the Rebbe would show them such kiruv and love, and he was blown away by the Rebbe's ability to connect and to reach out, right? Avos Yisrael. And the Rebbe's tremendous, endless love to Eretz Yisrael. So you realize this guy is seeing the Rebbe's love to Eretz Yisrael and so on. This guy is seeing the Rebbe's kanois, that he's such a kanoi. He's seeing the Rebbe as the being biggest lamda. This guy is seeing chassidus and holiness, and so these are. It's very interesting. This kuloi boy, because that comes from Moichen de Gadlus. The Moichen de Gadlus is able to incorporate such broadness, to have a human being that is able to whenever the right reaction needs to be the right reaction, that's the reaction. You can't define him. You can't say, the Baal Rebbe is a kanoi. You can't say that. He was kanois when kanoishkeit was needed. When love was needed, Avos Yisrael, of course, Oiv Yisrael, that you could say him. But it didn't. But when he needed to rebuke, he rebuked. You have a complete, never overlooking anything. It's that broadness. That's called Moichen de Gadlus. Not stuck in any Indian. Okay, he says the Ish, he says, Ubchenas Midos. Ish is primarily the Eish. Eish, Moichen Akam, fire, that's the emotions. And even though in Ish there's also Moichen, because an Ish, someone who's an Ish also has a brain. So he also has Moichen, but it's Bchenas Katnos. His Moichen is narrow-mindedness. That's why he operates in a state of Ischalkos, each midah individually. But the level of Adam, Bchenas Moichen, the Gadlus is broad Moichen. And that's why he's very broad and very all-encompassing and all-incorporated. And this also explains the Adam begematria ma. Adam is gematria 45. Aleph, Dalet, Mem, 45. What is the quality? And we know one of the names of Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, equals, if you do the miloi of Alephs, you fill the letters with Alephs, you get 45. Aleph, yeah? Shema. And we know that name of the Eibishter is the name that is the neshama of God that dwells in Olam Atzilus. And through all the spheroids, it fills all the spheroids of Atzilus. That's Shema, the name. We say it in Pasach Eliyah. We say Shema the Oirach Atzilus. It's the passageway, the highway of light, of godly energy that flows through all the spheroids. Is what is called Shema, the name of 45. Why? Because in order for it to be, what's Olam Atzilus? Olam Atzilus is the perfect configuration of Iskalos. The Eibishter's emotions, as they all come together in a perfect harmony to rule the world or to conduct the affairs of the world in a perfect, synchronized, harmonious fashion. And that energy to take these distinct, intense spheroids. You have spheros HaChesed and spheros HaGevura. These are two opposite forces. And to be able to harmonize them, that's through this moichen, this power of moichen that comes through. Shema, the name of 45. We said before, moichen is bittul. It's not about me. And ma means, what am I? It's not about me. It's about the emes, about the truth. So the power of ma, of bittul, flows through Atzilus and harmonizes everything. And that's Adam. Adam is someone who has that inyan. That's why the Shem Ma, what does Shem Ma do? Who sha'oise his skalalus to chesed the gevura. It makes an iskalalus of chesed and gevura, v'chulu, and all the other spheres. But the ikr, the two extreme opposites of chesed and gevura. V'zeu, and that's why it says in Pasuk Eliyahu, miligav ihu Shem Ma. Inside, the inner energy. The word milagav means inside, milabar means outside. So milagav is what Shem Ma. Inside is the name of Ma. The oirach atzilus, this is the energy, the flow of atzilus. Hu b'china Shem Ma the tikkun, this is the Shem Ma of tikkun. Shemekasher u'mechaber es spherois, that binds and attaches all the es spherois. Kamaimer, as it says, antu the kasher loin u'meyachad loin. You are the one who's mekasher them, who connects them, u'meyachad loin, and unifies them. You're the one, ant. And who's the ant? That's the es spherois, because the es spherois on their own, Madregos muvdalos. They are separated madregos. Va'afeichem zem mizeh, and they're opposite one from each other. Va'hakav, and then there is that simple, undefined energy of God called the kav, that emanation of straight a line of the Eibishter's light of Oirin Soif. Hu mekasher u'mechaber oisam. This ties them and unifies them. V'zeu, and that's why we say the Oirach Atzilus. This is the pathway of Atzilus. Shahakav, the kav, who derech, this is the way, shaboy nimshach ha'oirein soif ba'olamos. The oirein soif comes through into the world, and the oirein soif is the Eibishter himself. He unifies all the spheres together. Ekamoya derech hagadol, like a big, it's called oirach, it's like a path. But this is like a major thoroughfare, a major highway, shahoylech me'ir le'ir, that goes from city to city. But it's one central road that you can exit over here, you can exit over here, you can get off the thousands of exits. But it's one. And what does it do? It goes across you have the 10 freeway, it goes across the entire United States, from coast to coast. It ends in Jackson, Florida, and it goes over here, it begins in Santa Monica. From Montreal, coast to coast. In between them, this is one connector. You can get off here, there, but it's one road that connects the whole thing. So the same thing, this one singular energy of God, of the Oirein Soif, flowing through all the spheres, it's feeding every sphere individually, but it's keeping it all together because it itself is still simple and undefined, and it has the ability to unify everything. In the places that are around it. The kav is called the way of God, in which the Oirein Soif flows. And in Eitz Chaim he says, Shahakav ke'ein tzinor. The kav is like a tzinor, like a pipe. Hanimshach ma'oirein soif, that's drawn from the oirein soif. U'kamoi tzinor gadol, and like a great pipe. Hanimshach ma'hanor, a major pipe, or what do they call it? A waterway. What is it called? No, they have these special names for them when they're in. You see them sometimes when you're driving, like through the desert area. They have these canals. I don't know what they call it. Anyways, that's coming from the river. The mahanor atzmoi, from the river itself, you can't take little vessels, little cups, and go to the river itself. The river is just too intense. You create a tzinor, a pipe that comes from there. Now the tzinor itself, even though the water is already far, far less than from the gushing river, but nevertheless, gamkein, you can't yet fill small little vessels from the pipe. Then you have little pipes that go out from the main pipe, which just fills the kelim, that are around it. The same is also the kav, this is the great pipe. Hanimshach ma'oirein soif, that's drawn from the oirein soif, umemenu, and from it nimshachem tzenoires ktanim, come out small little faucets, l'chol sfira befrat, to every sfira individually. Va'akav atzmoi, but the kav itself, hu l'mayla dayan me'eschalkos, even though this kav is feeding chachma, it's feeding bina, and it's feeding chesed, and it's feeding gevur, it's energizing all the spheres, but it itself cannot yet be defined by any of these definitions. It's still simple, and because of its simplicity, it can unify everything, because it's still pre-definitions. Hagam sha'akavu is galus prati. Legabe es sfiros hagnuzos. Now, even though we know, compared to a higher level of the es sfiros that are gnuzos. Now, I'm going to do this very quickly because we can get schlepped over here, and we're going to lose the mimer because of getting into this Indian. And I don't want to do this, but in Chassidus we speak about many levels. So es sfiros manifest in Atzilus, but there's something called the es sfiros hagnizos, the es sfiros that are in their, still hidden in their source, in the Eibishter himself. So the kav, being that the kav is what's carrying the energy to the spheroids, you have to say that in the kav already, there is already the potential for chachma, the potential for bina, because it's, and it's already more of a pronounced potential than the spheroids when they're still gnizos in their matzilan. Matzilan is like the river itself, the emanator, the ocean itself. Over there, there's also spheroids, but there it's so benign, it's as if it doesn't exist. In the kav, they already, the spheroids are already more pronounced. That's why he says, look at that. The Agam Sha'akavu is galus prati. It's considered a specific his galus legabeya esesphiros hagnuzos compared to the esesphiros hagnuzos. Shehem b'pchenas his achtus v'his arvos mamish. Over there, everything is totally unified and totally mixed. V'akavu is galus, and the kav is already an expression spheros pratios, which is a very strange thing. The kav is spheros pratios. Yes. Why? V'zeu sha'akav asum minekudais. A line, what are we using? We're using the term for kav, we're using a line. And when you look at a line, what's a line? A line is made up of a bunch of dots. A bunch of dots. You start first with one dot. When you start creating a line, what do? You made one dot. When you're pulling the pencil, you're making another dot, another dot. You're making dots, and that's together. But they're dots that are dots. The fact that the kav is made up of a bunch of points, since the kav is made up of a bunch of points, is a sign that the kav already has within it individual spheres. Each point is another sphere. And that's why taka later, when the kav comes down, at a certain point, I'll give you an example to understand this. In the menorah, there was the center bar. But from the center bar came out the six side pipes. Each place where the menorah hit the side pipes, there was a ball, a kaftar, a knob. And the idea being is that the fact that it's at this place feeding into individual pipes is a sign that in this moment the chachma and the bina of it is highlighted. At the next place, the chesed and the gevura is highlighted. That's why it's bolder over here. There's a shinoi in the kav itself at these places, because over here it's feeding. That's related to this idea that I'm saying that the kav is made up of nekudas, and each nekuda is another point. But the mere fact that these nekudas can stand so close to each other and be totally attached, it's on the one hand dot, but it's not separated dots like in Toyu, where each dot stands on its own. These dots are one continuum flow, is a sign that even though there is, on the one hand, we're saying it's already a shoresh for individual spheres, but on the other hand, it is still so abstract and so clean and so essence that it's not yet in any way clashing with the other sphere. Quite on the contrary, this is the source of the harmony between all the spheres. It's nishnegeya so much right now for the get into the depth of this Inyan, but I think I've in a short little given you the concept. V'akavu was galus spheres pratius, v'zer shakav asum minikudos from points. Ta'inu pratias spheres shabai, which are the individual spheres. Makom u'b'chenes pshitos adayin. The spheres are still in a state of pshitos, of simplicity. V'zeu shu b'chenes nekudos, and that's why it's nekudos. The nekuda hu b'chenes pshitos. See, it's not yet a design, it's only a dot. What's the dot? The dot is showing that it's still pashut. It's not yet, it doesn't have any figure yet. But the chiddush of these nekudos are that these are the nekudos, but the nekudos when they're all unified. It's not like the nekudos of Toyu, where you have chesed, gevura, each one, but they're not like a line. They're not connected one to each other. And it's interesting. The reason Chassidus gives that in the world of Toyu, the spheres were so intolerant of each other was because every sphere was the essence of the sphere. And the essence of the sphere can't tolerate the other one. So what are you seeing? That sometimes pshitus, an essence, causes ischalkus, causes what? Clashing, intolerance. But so the Rebbe is really saying that there's two types of pshitus. Now again, to understand the depth of it, I don't understand it, I didn't study it, and I don't know it. But I hear at least one he's saying, that there's two types of pshitus. There is the pshitus and the essence of the sphera that highlights its character, even though it's the essence of that character, and therefore this sphera and the other sphera are intolerant of each other. These spheras clash and they're intolerant of each other. And then there's a form of essence, of pshitus, of spheras, precisely because they're pashut, they're not yet spiced with their individual spice, they're able to work together. And that's the chiddush of the kav. In Toyu, it's the essence, but the essence that's causing them to clash. Here it's the essence, but the essence in a manner where it's, so maybe this is because this is still pre-Toyu. This is a level of essence of pshitus that's before the pshitus of Toyu, in which there must be a lot on this. In Toyu, in the world of Nekudais, they're in a state of pirut, zemizeh. This that the kav is from the Nekudais, and boy b'chenas is achtos, they're in a state of isachtos, of unification. V'zeu shehu kav, that's why it's a line, ha'asim in Nekudais. It's not just a Nekuda, it's a line made of Nekudais. It's attached Nekudais. Sheyesh by beis in yanim, it has two opposites. B'chenas Nekudais, a Nekuda, which the Nekuda emphasizes that it's one specific inyan, it's chesed, but also b'chenas pshitus. It's also the pshitus, the simplicity. I'm sorry. It's p'chenas nekudais, b'chenas pshitus. It's the nekudais which emphasize it's still pashat. It's not yet a design. But also, in general, it's a kav. They're all unified. Okay, I don't want to lose everybody. It's dafka these deep canyons when you're learning this mimer in a 6-week course in yeshiva. It's good to learn this very, very deeply and understand it very thoroughly. But if you're trying to learn it in the context that we're learning now, and we get so lost in this, it becomes sometimes a turn-off to Chassidus, because you walk away and like, this is too much. So let's try to keep the Nekuda. The Nekuda is that the Kav is still very much a simple, undefined, pure energy, but at the same time it's also serving as the beginning of individualized things, and that's why mitzad it's able to create a harmony amongst individual elements. That means even after the spheroids become full-fledged spheroids, it's able to harmonize them. It's able to harmonize them because in essence the kav is still higher than all the individual opinions. It's still simple, godly light, it's still higher than the individual. But it can relate to them and harmonize them because he's also the beginning of their individuality. Sometimes someone is such a, there's two types of people that are peaceful people. There's a guy who's so peaceful, he never ever fought with anybody, never fought with a mosquito, never fought with any entity or any being in the world. This person can't be a peacemaker. The reason why he can't be a peacemaker because he can't relate to any, he doesn't. But then there is a level of someone who's shaykh to a fight. He's shaykh to different opinions. He's shaykh to arguments. And yet, he's always able to facilitate the argument and work out the two sides and compromise and come together. So the kav has to have within it these two inyanim. If the kav would be just pure pshitas, then it wouldn't be able to affect the level where the spheres are individual spheres and harmonize them. So therefore, what he explained right now is takenegeya to the avodah of the kav. The kav has, on the one hand, it's a dot, which the dot represents its individual spheres, but on the other hand, it's a line. That means that the dots are all connected together. So it's able to have within it this inyan. V'zeu inyan essa spheres b'li ma. It's the essa spheres, the power that without a ma doesn't have a mahus yet. You can learn the mimer in great length, which is the longest mimer in Chassidus, the most complex mimer in Chassidus that exists. And after you finish that, you're going to understand what we're learning over here. And since the kav is in a state of isachtos, because it in itself is in a state of complete unity, that's why it can bring that unity even to the Esses spherois. After the 10 spherois become spherois, it can unify them. So he says, because this idea that we say the kav is in a state of achdus, let's understand this. What did we say earlier about the kav? First there's a kav, then there is a tzenoiros. And the tzenoiros, the individual pipes coming from the main pipe, go into the spherois. So he says like this, even the tzenoiros, these individual pipes, that's not yet the sphera. That's the flow of kav energy to the sphera. That too is still higher than the sphera. There is the sphera sachachma, sphera sabina, where the energy is already characterized as chachma, as bina, as chesed, as gevura. It has already real flavor. This is lemonade, and this is, what's a sweet drink? No? Cranberries can be pretty sour. I'm wanting something really essentially very sweet. Huh? Come on, I need something healthy. Yeah, mango juice. Mango juice. So this is a mango, and this is a lemonade. It's two different, or lemon, not lemonade, but lemon, okay. So this is each one, once it's the spheroids, they're already spheroids, they're already individualized. Each one has its inyan. The tzinoiros are still the pure light flowing from the cup. But we have to, so he says like this, even the tzinoiros, which are already closer to the actual spheroids, they're still the source of the lights. They're not yet the lights of the spheroids. Va'atzmus hakav, the essence of the kav, is even higher than being a makar for these individuals. L'chein al yodoi dafka, through the atzmos, the essence of the kav, it can bring about unification and integration, because it itself, it's still in a state of pshitus and unification of essential oneness. This is the name Ma, the Oirach Atzilus, which is the one path that goes through the entire Atzilus. Now, Now, the Rebbe Rashab is saying that's our pirush according to the Alter Rebbe in this idea. The paradise, Ramosha, which is the Ramak, Ramosha Kardama, he gives another pirush in the words that Shema iu oirech atzilus. But the Rebbe disagrees with the pardeis's pshat. The pardeis is mefarish that when we say that this is the oir, when we say that this is oirech atzilus, this is the light of atzilus, the pathway of atzilus, shazeu oiram, he says it's referring to the light that's mamish mislabish b'kelim. It's the light of the kav that goes down through the tzenoiros and it goes into the kelim. The Esespheres Tatzilus. So the Rebbe says, but v'zeh doichek, we can't say that's the name Ma. Shem Ma, the Oirach Atzilus, it can't be the individual energy that goes into the spheres to become sphera-like, to become why. The Im came, Ma'u Amroi, the Oirach, why does he call it one Oirach? One Oirach means one path. If it's the individual Oir that goes into the Kalim, it's many paths, because in each sphera there's another channel. Sha'arei yesh drachim rabim, there are many roads. Then oiros haprotiyim, these are specific oiros shebekelim that are in kelim. V'yesh chiluk bein derech echad l'drachim rabim. There is a big chiluk between one derech and the many ways. V'al derech mashakasa be'idre rabba, as he gives an example, like it says in Zohar. I'm sorry, the mimer becomes much easier and smoother, and once we pass this intense Kabbalistic, abstract stuff of the Kav. I was even thinking to skip this, but Laman not to skip, because or else I would be contradicting my entire Thursday night class that we learned the whole mimer and we don't skip anything. So therefore, because of my stubbornness, I decided to stick to it. But don't get this. I hate the thought of people getting turned off by these complicated. Obviously, you have to learn this, and it's not so complicated, but you have to pay attention. So it says in Idri Rabbah, the Chad Orche u'mispar shel Tariag Orchen. It says there's one path, which is the source of the Torah, and then it becomes mispashe to 613 orchen. But over there too, you understand, sheyesh hefresh gadol, you can understand there's a big difference between Tariag Urchen, between the 613 individual paths, Lachad Urchen, to the one path, the Golgalta of the Galgoylas, which is still pre-Kamashkas Makamacha. So if that's the case, over here too, it calls it Oirach Atzilus, therefore it can't be the light that actually goes into each Keli, because that would be Or Chois, that wouldn't be Oirach. Gam Mashakas of Shem Ma, also the fact that it connects it to the name Ma. If it would be the oil that goes into the actual kelim, then that's why dafka ma. We know that in the 10 spheres, each sphera is a different name. Chachma is Ayin Beis, the name of Ayin. Okay, well, for those familiar with the classes over here, we've learned many times that Yud Kei Vav Kei has different gematrias. Yud Kei Vav Kei, the regular gematria is 26, but depending on how you fill the letters, you get 72, 63, 45, and 52. Ayin Beis, Samach Gimel, Ma, and Ban. These are the four things. Ma is one of these four. If we're saying it's the oir that goes mamish into the spheroids, then that's not called Ma anymore. It depends which madrega. The oir chatzilus, hareya oiros aprotium, the specific oiros of each sphera, hem b'shemois protium. They have individual shemois. Look at this. Ayin Beis, Av, Samach is Samach Gimel, Mem is Mem Hey, and Beis is Ban. This stands for Av, Sag, Ma, and Ban. It's a cool Rosh Hashanah. Shem Ayin Beis B'chachma. The name of Ayin Beis is primarily the name of 72. It relates to the divine energy that's in Sfiras HaChachma. Sag B'bina, Samach Gimel is in Bina. Chulu, Ma is in Ze'er Anpin, and Malchus is Ban. That's if we're looking at each one individually. But here we're saying, in general, the entire Atzilus is unified with one energy, Shema. So it can't mean the individual light that's in the spheres. It has to be the one general, powerful flow of energy that flows through the entire world of Atzilus. The entire light is Shema of Atzilus. Shema the Tikkun. It's the name of Ma of Tikkun she'oiseh hiskalalus, that makes this hiskalalus and this integration. After that's why it's also the lashon. After in Pasach Eliyah, when he specifies all the spheres, and he says Chesed is Droya Yamina, the right hand, Chachma Moicha, Chachma is the brain. After he finishes with all of them, that's the oiros, the lights and the kelim. Oimar, he says, in addition to all the specifics, there's one neshama that infuses them all with life. From above, from inside, is the name Ma. The Oirach Atzilus is the one path of Atzilus. The essence of the Kav. That doesn't become enclosed and therefore defined by that particular sphere. This is what ties and unifies them together. And that's the power of Adam, which is Gematria Ma. That's the Iskalus. So the Kav, so basically what we learned over here now, is the Kav is called Adam. Now, why is it called Adam? Because the word Adam means Adame le'elyoin. He's compared to the one above. So if we say the Kav is Adam, it's because it is compared to the one above. To who? To the essence of God himself. Because the Kav is still a reflection of the simplicity of the Eibishter himself. The Eibishter is for sure koilel everything, because like the Rambam says, that ma'mitasi matzai, from the truth of his existence, nimtzu kol nimtzayim. Everything comes from his, whether it's sweet or sour, ultimately it all can only exist if there's an Eibishter who is the source of it, can't even call him a source, but if not for him, they couldn't be. So he is but the Eibishter's oneness is an absolute oneness. There's nothing there but him. This is Adam El Elyon, because we said earlier, it has already points, but the points are still all in one line, because it's Adam, it's compared to the one above. The essence of the Oirein Soif. That's a perfect unity with the epitome of Pshitas. Adam elyon compared to the one above, shazau madregis protiyos. It's already specified madregos, but shehem bepchinas esachtos. They're specific madregos, but they're all unified. It's a tzibur. It's a unification. Betachlis hayichud, they're all unified. V'kol zeu b'chinas Adam. This is Adam. Avo b'chinas ish. What's ish? Hu shebepchinas eschalkos. Each sphere individually, each inyan on its own. V'al kein tzarech liyus b'zeh merita mahasairis. The Adam, the ish needs to be bald. The bepchinas Adam udafke inyan asairis. I see. I've been looking lately at my head. I see. I better become an Adam quickly. Or else ich will bleiben an ish. Ich will bleiben an der Haar. The bepchinas Adam who dafke inyan asairis. And dafke in Adam is where we have the hair. K'moshi Yisbar, like it explains, ach bepchinas ish. But in the bepchinas of ish tzarech liyos ki yamaret roisha. We need to have ki yamaret roisha. We'll take a little break. We're not going to learn the whole mimer tonight. We're going to learn half. We're going to learn one more. We're going to learn one more parak Beis, and then we're going to leave Gimel and Dalet Be'ez Hashem for next week. Today we're going to learn parak Beis, which is very gishmak. So let's take a break for a few minutes, whatever you want, whether it's a bathroom break or a chalent break, and then we continue. The Tanai rice.
What does that look like?
There.
I understand the dots.
It's close. Oh, what? Yeah. So, what's its seer? What's its seer? Yeah.
But I don't know. I actually love this.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good.
You like this? Okay. Good. You're a. I hardly ever teach Rebbe Rashad. Time to continue. Be an Indian. Very good name. You need to go in with a broomstick. Be it an Indian, and the explanation of the matter is this idea that the ish needs to shave his, remove his hair. We have to first preface the idea of what is Enosh. Enosh, we said, is the weakest. In order to understand an ish is a strong person, and Enosh is weak. Enosh means weakness. Like it says in the pasuk, Akov alev mikol, the heart is crooked. Akov, it's fakrumt, it's crooked. The Enoshu, and it's weak. And that's referring to a situation now where a person has lost their holy heart, their godly heart. Pirish chalush, meaning weak. Ish, who Amoirale is Gabros. Ish means a strong heart. But Baker is the heart, but a strong heart. Where do you see Ish? Ish gvurasai, like a man, his strength. Like you say, be a man, be strong. That's the idea of a man. Ish, gvura. Ashrei ish. And when Chazal say, fortunate is a man, Ashrei kishahu ish. Fortunate is a person when he's an ish, when he's strong. Chazal also say that they use the term ha'ish darkoi lichboish. It is the man's way to be a conqueror, which represents strength. He conquers. The Enosh is the opposite. Enosh is a weakling. This is a weakness. What sense is a person weak? So he's going to explain it means spiritually weak. We, the Jewish people, have a very, 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 very powerful Inyan, in that we are supposed to be the heart of the universe. We are the heart of all of creation. We bring life and diffuse it to the entire world. Now the nations, interesting, are beginning to reset the nations are beginning to realign themselves with the heart. Now, you see, it's 70 years since they're celebrating in Israel, this and that, but what's the big deal? The big deal is already a fourth country, Romania today, said is moving its embassy to Jerusalem. That's after the United States, Guatemala, and the next one was Honduras, who is, said they want to do that. The Congress voters that they should do it. And now it's Romania, a European country. And now Netanyahu said another 6 countries are debating this, are considering it. So what is it? And people don't realize it. It says when Mashiach will come, V'naharu elav kol hagoyim. All the nations will flock to Jerusalem. A nation needs an embassy in Jerusalem if their people are coming there. If a person comes from Spain and they're in Israel and they have a problem, they go to their embassy to help them take care of it. So they need their embassies to be in Jerusalem. Until now, they weren't going to do it. They kept it in Tel Aviv. They weren't going to do it. But since Mashiach is coming, the nations subconsciously are sensing it, and they're beginning to relocate it slowly. But you'll see, once they start moving it, they're all going to move their embassies there. Why? Because the people are blinded not to see what's going on. It's unbelievable. But in any case, why Jerusalem? Because Jerusalem is the heart. It's the heart of the world. It's where all the energy flows to all of creation. It's the heartbeat of the world is in Yerushalayim. The heartbeat of the world is also the Jewish people. We are the heart. If chas v'shalom, a Jew is not functioning as a Jew is supposed to function in being able to be the heart, we're going to see what the heart's main function is. The heart's main function, as we're going to see in a moment, is to receive the deeper element of life, the higher life, and diffuse it into the body. That means like this. Even though there is life, there's 2 types of life he's going to explain, very geschmack. There's 2 types of life in the body. There is life that motorizes the body, which becomes very like physical kind of a life. It energizes physical life, more of a material kind of an existence in the person's body. And then there is a higher kind of a life, which is more the higher human, which means more like a person is alive. It's not just that their body has energy to move its limbs, but this person, when you come close to them, you feel life. And usually, he says it's like having the emotional element of a person, is that they have joy, passion, fire, not just material, physical moving of their body, but it's alive. The heart is a keli. The heart serves as Grand Central Station, both for the very physical life, that's the blood that the heart pumps to the body, but also the heart receives a higher form of life, which is the deeper life, which is the more spiritual life, and sends that throughout the entire body. We, the Jewish people, are supposed to receive that spiritual life, which is the inner light of God. We receive it into us, and from us we diffuse it into the entire world, to bring a very powerful, high, godly consciousness and awareness to all of creation. And not only that, but a fiery excitement and passion, an emotional reaction to that light that the whole world is going to experience once Mashiach comes. It's not just going to be people who are going to know God with dry intellect. People are going to be passionate about their relationship with the Eibishter. People are going to feel intense emotions. Gentiles, not just Jews. Gentiles are going to have Avas Hashem and Yiras Hashem. But where are they receiving that consciousness, that awareness? It's supposed to be from the Jewish people. When a neshama is a keli for that godly awareness coming from Hashem into him and through him into the world, then the Jewish heart is a strong heart. If chas v'shalom the heart becomes clogged, like a person can clog the arteries of the heart, chas v'shalom. So when the heart gets clogged with excessive material pursuits, and they become therefore desensitized to be able to receive this higher divine consciousness, and if we can't receive the higher divine consciousness for ourselves, we can't infuse that into the environment, into the people around us. That's called the weakened heart, and that's called Enosh. It's a gewaldige inyan. So let's see inside. Just like the heart, the hineksiv. First, behold, it says, "Libavtani achoisi kala." Simply, it means you captured my heart. The Eibishter says, "Achoisi kala, my sister, my bride. I can't help. I fell in love with you." That's the Eibishter says. You captured my heart. But the deeper meaning is, you are my heart. Libavtani achoisi kala. You are my heart, and you function as a heart. In what sense? What the heart is to the body and the soul, the heart serves as the mediator between and the facilitator between the soul and the body. The heart allows the soul to rest in the heart, and from there to make its way through the body, translate the energy into relatable to the body. So to we, the Jewish people, the Eibishter is the soul, the world is the body, and the Jewish people is the heart that captures that godliness in themselves and diffuse it into the world. And for that we have to be a healthy heart. So the Yidden, the souls of Israel, are called Lev. Just like the heart, Keli, which is a Keli, L'ruach HaChayim, to the spirit of life. Shemishkanei b'leiv, which the spirit of life dwells in the heart. Ulechein alev doifek tamid. This, that the heart needs to serve as the point of contact between the neshama and the body. That's why the heart is constantly restless. The heart is constantly doifek. You have a heartbeat. Beis defikos, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, boom, 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 boom. Why does the heart do that? It's good for my neck, I'm sorry. Histalkos v'hispashtos. It's this histalkos, it's this departure, and this is spashtos. Because what happens is the heartbeat represents like this. It contracts and it expands. It expands and contracts. So what that really is that the heart, it's representing two movements of ratzai and shuv. It's receiving its energy and it's spreading it, breathing it, but it's touching and back and forth. Why? Because the soul and the body are two opposites. and there's no way they can connect to each other. Total two opposites, spiritual and physical, two opposites. Therefore, their connection has to constantly be in a state of yet and no, because if they connect in a constant, then the body will burn, it will burn the body, or the soul will lose being a soul because it's going to become schlepped in, dragged into the coarseness of the body. For the soul to remain a soul, and for the body not to get burnt up by that, not get overwhelmed by the soul, their connection has to be constantly touching and not touching. And that's the reason why dafka at the heart, the rest of the body doesn't have that kind of constant. All the limbs are b'menucha. They're not constantly in that state of agitation. Only the heart is agitated. Its agitation comes from yet no. It's daring to touch the soul. It touches and jumps. It keeps on touching. It grabs life and moves back. Touches and grabs. That's its thing. It's like a person that's daring to do something. Like, you play tag as a kid. You go over the line, come back. So that's the heart. It's always like in and out. Because that's the way chayas works. Chayas works in a manner, all energy flow into a vessel works in a way of ratzei v'shuv, racing and returning. The iskashros chayas hanefesh emaguf, the connection of the chayas, of the life force of the soul with the body, ratzei v'shuv, is to racing and returning. Ebb and flow. Sha'aruchni is v'gashmias, and the reason, as he explained, the reason is sha'aruchni is v'gashmias and rechoikim b'madreges be'erech, because spirituality and physical are very distant from each other. Ve'i af shaliyah is b'cheneses yashvus mamish, and therefore it can't settle. One can't settle in the other one. Kiyam b'derech ratzeh v'shuv, it has to be in a manner of yes and no. V'zeu atfika daliba, this is the pounding of the heart. V'hu b'leiv dafkin, it's dafkin the heart. V'shar kol ha'evarim, and the rest of the limbs, nochim, are peaceful, they rest. V'hainu mitnai shahalev hu ha'keli laruach hayim, dafkin the heart is the keli to the spirit of life. Uksiv, and it says in the pasuk, Yoitze ruach ha'adam b'kirboi, the Eibishter creates or forms the ruach ha'adam, the spirit of the man, b'kirboi, inside of him. Kerev hi toich v'emtzoyes haguf. Kerev is the center of the body. It's your kerev. Because you can ask the question, doesn't the moyach receive before the heart? The brain, the moch in the head receives before the heart. He's going to say in a moment, the heart receives the energy from the brain. So if that's the case, why don't we find that the brain has a constant, and the brain is b'menucha. The brain is not. The brain doesn't have the contraction and the expansion every second. Only the heart. So that's why he brings this pasuk, Yoitze ruach ha'adam b'kirboi, that the ruach of the person needs to come b'kirboi. You see, here's the idea. I mean, it's not that clear from here, but it seems a little bit this is the idea. The head of a person is really still kind of spiritual. It's very edel. The head is edel. The brain is very edel. It's not you. The you of the person is their center, their body. The head is like a power that's directing you and above you, but you're the main person. So therefore, the fact that the head connects to the neshama is not such a chiddush. The chiddush is that the body connects to the neshama, the rest of the body. And that's the meaning of yoitzer ruach ha'adam b'kirboi, kerev hu toich v'emtzoyes haguf, the center of the body. The yoitzer, and dafka over here it says yoitzer. Yoitzer comes from the word to attach, to mold, to humaloshin vayotzar bacheret. He wrapped them, he tied it. Hainu yoitzer ruach ha'adam b'kirboi b'leiv. The Eibishter attaches, the Eibishter connects the spirit to the heart. And what does the heart do? V'liba pailig l'chol shaifin. And the heart divides it and diffuses the energy throughout the entire body. V'hinei haleiv, now the heart, makabel ha'chayas ma'moyach. Now where does the heart get its chayas from? Ma'moyach, from the brain. Sharei mishkan ha'neshama hu b'moyach, because the mishkan of the neshama is where the neshama really first dwells in the brain. Stated in Tanya in chapter 51. The klalos haneshama mishkana, the general neshama dwells v'ashra asa, and its dwelling is b'moyach, is in the moyach. And from the moach, it is drawn into the heart. The yesh gimel moichin, there are 3 moichin Chabad. In the moichin, there are 3 moichin. What are the 3 moichin? Chachma bina das. Moach ha-chachma, the moach of chachma, as we learned many times, the brain in which, the right side of the brain where the chachma takes place, kar v'lach, is cold and moist. Moach ha-bina, the moach, the brain, the left side of the brain, the analytical side of the brain, where the bina happens. Cham is hot, v'yavish, and dry. Simply the anatomy. The anatomy of the brain is it's moist on the right side and drier on the left side. Moach hadas mamutza, and the das is in the middle. Umemuzik mishneim, and it has somewhat of both of them together. Ukenegdam, now the point is we have to transport this transcendental power that's sitting in the head has to now enter into the center of the person. At your center, has to go down into the body. The heart is going to receive it. The heart is going to receive from these 3 moichin. Through what? Through 3 passageways. The neck has 3 passageways, 3 pipes. There are 3 kelim that are now going to carry down the moichin from the moyach down to the heart. The ruach hachayim, the life force. Koneh, that's the windpipe. What do they call it? The tranchea. It's the wind. What? Trachea. Sorry, the trachea. So the trachea is the windpipe, and then there is veshet. That's the esophagus, the food pipe, and then there is vriden. Vriden is the artery, and there's many arteries in the person, but there's one main artery that runs down a person's. I forgot what the name of that artery is. A very serious artery. Now, the moyach of chachma, which is cool and moist, so it goes through the windpipe, because wind is also cool and moist. So it is like sending down its hashpa down to the heart through the koneh, through the windpipe. And where is it landing? Where is it being received? In the right ventricle of the heart. Because the heart has the right side and the left side. So the right side is receiving mainly the ruach hachayim, this wind coming from there. Hamala ruach hayim, which, as the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, the right side of the heart is filled with oxygen. The ein baydam, it doesn't have any blood. The leiv chacham liyaminoi, the why, because chachma, he's saying chachma comes down to the right side. Chacham, not versus bina. Leiv, the heart of chachma, liyamina goes to the right. Chalayamini sheba leiv, the right side of the heart. But then you have a moyach of the bina, the left side, which is the bina, which is where we take ideas and we crunch them into small little pieces. We analyze them. That's the left side of the brain. The understanding of things in detail. That's the bina. Shulcham v'yavish, which is hot and dry, and so therefore its influence carries down to the heart. Nimshach derech haveshet, that passes through the food, which the l'chol lasmali. Now food. First of all, what do you do with food? You chew it down to little pieces. And yeah, I guess it's hot and dry. It's exactly that element of it. But that's sending down primarily to the left side of the heart, not the food. The food is not going directly into the heart. That wouldn't be good. But it means that it's still passing down some through its, I don't know what, through this esophagus. It's somehow connecting to the left side of the heart, shesham dama muvchar, which over there has the cleanest blood. It's very, very, it's fine blood. Now he doesn't explain where, and obviously the das is coming through, the moyach hadas is coming through the artery that's in between them. Now once the heart receives from the moyach hachachma and the moyach habina, now the heart's job is to be the great supplier to everybody. He's the derech hagidim, through the veins. But there's 2 types of veins. There are veins, blood veins, blood vessels, and there's also nerves that somehow also seem to plug into the heart. There are two types of gidim. Gidei Adam, there is the gidim of blood, the gidei haruach hayim, and then there is the veins that carry the ruach hayim. Now, it's an oxygen vein. They carry the oxygen. Now, what exactly that is in terms of modern science, I'm not that familiar with the biology and the analogy of the biology and the anomaly of the body. And therefore, I can't exactly tell you. Maybe it's the nerve system. I'm not exactly sure. But I wouldn't think that the nerve system is the oxygen system. The oxygen is carried through the blood. There's some kind of a ruach hayim, but it seems to be a nerve, kind of a higher. I'm not exactly sure. The gidim b'chlal, the gidim in general, the veins in general, in general, all the gidim, whether it's the gidim that carry the ruach hayim or the gidim that carry the blood, the general Indian of these gidim they are what connect the nefesh and maguf. They connect the soul and the body. Ukemoi, when you said before the human being is like a whole planet, you see the same thing in the world. The water, how does the ocean water, the moisture, get across all the soil? The soil is moist. If soil is not moist, nothing will grow. Soil is moist. So in addition to rainwater, there's also moisture coming where there are channels, there are veins in the earth that carry water all over. You can't, underneath, very narrow, where little water goes through. Just like the veins of the earth. They connect the sea with the earth. So to the veins, they connect the life of the soul with the limbs of the body. The chayas hanefesh, the chayas of the soul, chayas ruchni, is a spiritual chayas. Mufshit mahageshem legamri. It's completely removed from any physicality. The soul is pure spiritual, and therefore what? It needs to be translated into a physical force of life. And then it becomes physical life. It becomes life to energize a body. To give them life. The inner organs and the outer organs. B'chayas murgish, in a chayas that is felt. Kol aver lefi mizga yutchonasai. Every aver, every limb will get according to its mezek, to its chemistry, to its utchunasa, and according to its character. This needs to come somehow. This has to translate. Should take the chayus down and make it more megusham, physically. The beginning of this is galus, of this light and this chayus, into the body, into the human experience, into the first it reveals itself in the brain, but there it's still what? Way above of being energy for what? For the rest of the body. Then it's from the brain it goes down to the heart. And from the heart, nimshach derech hagidim, it travels by way of the gidim, of the veins and the arteries. Gidei adam, these are the veins of blood. Shebehem gam came alubish chayas hanefesh. The chayas hanefesh is also enclosed in the blood that's in the gidim. Like it says, ki adamu hanefesh. That the blood, that's the soul. The soul is coming through the liquid, the juice of life, which is the blood. Shadam yesh by chayas levada ruach hayim. It's interesting. In addition to the nerve system that carries the ruach hayim, the blood also carries chayas. He's basically explaining there's two types of chayas. There is a chayas, I said that in the beginning when I made an introduction now. I said there's one type of chayas that's very physical, that keeps the body simply in operation, but then there is more of a deeper, more spiritual kind of life that's felt in the body too, like emotion, love, these feelings. Even people, for instance, that try to deny a soul, have a very hard time explaining emotions like love and anger and hate, and because if it's just biological life, I can understand it moving like a snail moves, but where do you get these? So therefore, they have a hard time, and they say, chemical reactions, they have a very hard time. They can't. It's far more to prove a soul. It's much easier when you're dealing with the feeling of the love, of an emotion, to say that's just a few chemicals that are burning in you. and there's no soul there, is a very hard argument to accept. Even those that try to deny a soul have a very hard time doing that. Because, but he says there's two things. There's chayos that's going through the blood. But that chayos that goes through the blood, that energy that goes through the blood, is very physical life, and that's from the left side of the brain, because that's where we said, remember, that's where we said the heart is full of blood, and where is it receiving? From the bina. Shabama moyach habina. That's coming from the moyach of bina. V'nimshach derech halev, and it comes through the heart, be'ivarei aguf, in the limbs of the body. Lachyoisam b'chayus ba'aksham mamish, to give them chayus. What kind of life? Very physical life. Pashit, your hand have the ability to move and to carry things and to do all the things you do with your hands. Zeu achayus shebahadam. That's the chayus that's in the blood. The adam aleph dam. Adam means aleph dam. The word adam. The hainu achayus shebedam, which is the chayus that's in the blood. Now he wants to prove that the chayos that's in the blood, which is very physical life, biological life, earthy life, it's coming from your bina. Why does he prove that it's coming from bina? So we know in the names of Hashem, Havaya is the name that is in Chachma. Eke is the name of Hashem that's in bina. Havaya is in Chachma, Eke is in bina. If Eke is in bina, so he's going to show you how blood has the name Eke in it. How? He says because the Eke biribua, Eke, the name Eke, biribua, b'gematria dam. What does it mean Eke biribua? What does it mean biribua? So ribua works like this. Square. How does that work? It works, you take the name Eke, watch this, you take the name Eke, and you do Aleph, and beneath it you do Aleph Hey, beneath it you do Aleph Hey Yud, and then underneath it is Aleph Hey Yud Hey. And you count them all together. Aleph is 1, Aleph and Hey is 6, together is 7. Aleph Hey Yud, 16, 16 plus 7, 16 plus 7 is 23. Eke completed, and then at the end is one more time. Aleph, Hey, Yud, Hey. Together is 21. 21 and 23, add it all together, 44. 44 is gematria dam. Dam, blood. So you see that the essence of blood is Eke. The name Eke. And the name Eke is in Bina. You step down a minute. Chachma is Havaya. Basically, what we really realize is biology, the basic biology of our substance of our body is divine names. That's what we are. Think blood. Blood is, what's blood? 44. What is it? It's the name Eke, biribua. It's thickening the name Eke down till it turns into a physical substance. That's what you do when you do a ribua, you're basically being mitzamtzim. The more letters you're adding, the more you're diluting it. You're diluting it, but you're diluting it to a point that it becomes blood. But what do you see from here? That our blood comes from the bina, from the left side. That's why we also know the father and the mother. The father is the chachma and the mother is the bina. And the mother is the one that gives the red that creates the blood, the flesh. The father is giving the bones and the light. So that's the interesting thing. But al kaponim, the gidei, the eka b'ribua b'gematria dam is gematria dam. Shezem ha'moyach bina, that's coming from bina. The gidei ruach hachayim and the arteries, the other kind of arteries, the other kind of gidim, these gidim that carry ruach hachayim. For now, let's call it the nerve system, but I'm sure it's something else. I'm going to speak to Mendel Zirkin already, and I'm going to find out what this is. The gidei ruach hachayim and these gidim of ruach hachayim. They're not coming from the left side of the heart, which is coming from the left side of the brain, which is bina. They're coming from the right side of the heart. That's receiving from the moyach of chachma. It's also going into the limbs. If you're going to say so, you can ask a question, why do the limbs need two types of chayos? Why do they need a ruach chayim? Why do they need blood? This chayos that the heart is, that the right side of the heart is sending down to the limbs, is a type of chayos that's of a superior quality than the chayus that's mislabish in the Ivarim to become biological, physical energy. Ba'akshamas achayus in the. Oh, I was waiting. I knew you're going to come. The ba'akshamas achayus in the gashmius, the gechayus, in the physical life. Ukamoi ish chai. And he gives an example. What do we mean by that? What do we mean that there is life? See, the first life is that you're not dead, but you're not alive. Second life is that you're alive. You say a living person. You see a person as a lebendiger, as a freilicher, he's alive. Everybody's alive from the life of the soul. You can have a person ba'atzlos, lazy, v'kavdos, and heavy. You don't see it in life. This is not a person, he's the life of the party. He walks in, he gets everybody's full of energy. Because this guy has life, he's alive, biologically he's alive. He's got the chayas of the blood, but he's lacking this ruach hachaya manifestation. There are people that simply are, I'm not going to say, he's not talking on a spiritual level. Talking about even non-spiritual. It's a person full of emotion, full of depth, you can sense it. That's coming from the gidim of Ruach HaChayim. Kamoikein, as he explains. First of all, he says, a person is more alive. The Ruach HaChayim gives you energy, like an extra oomph of life. But now there's another in it. He says, Hargashiyos nafshiyos. The fact that the body can feel emotions, to be able to feel something good that makes you happy. To feel something that hurts you. You can feel it internally. You feel compassion. And the like. The hargashos elu, these hargashos, they're coming more through the nerve system that's bringing you this higher kind of chayos that's allowing these inner experience. He says, yesh hargasha gamkein. There is also an hargasha that comes from the blood that also gives hargasha. Shebegidei adam, that has to do with the nerves that are in the blood. Fu hargasha sake'ev, feeling physical pain. That is not dependent in the oxygen and the Ruach HaChayim. That's connected more to the blood. So that you can feel. When someone is hurting in one of his limbs, margish belev, he feels it in the heart, ubemoyach, and in the brain. That's from the gidim, but that's more physical. The hargashis that are more spiritual, that are more nefeshtik, more soul-like. This is from the gidim, from these arteries that carry life, which are from the chachma, not from the bina. Now, when you say the heart is a heart to receive and to transport life, what's its primary inyan? The right side or the left side? The answer is both, but be'ikr, what's its ikr inyan? The right side. He says, the fact that the life is a keli to the Ruach HaChayim. The Hagam, even though Shegidei Adam Gam Kenim Shachem and Alev, even though the arteries of blood are also coming from the heart, and that's ikr, the heart is a blood pumper. Ein ze ikra shel alev. It's still not the main thing of the heart. Why? Because that's more related to the liver. The liver is blood. That's the inyan of the liver. The heart is more the pumping of life, not so much blood. Even though technically it also important, it distributes the blood. That's shayach more to the liver. The kavod hu dam. The kavod is blood. And that's why we say that when we have ruach nefesh, nefesh ruach neshama, neshama is in the brain, ruach is in the heart, nefesh is in the kavod, in the liver. So you see be'ikr, because that's blood, that's the ikr. V'hakavod hu b'chinas nefesh v'alev ruach. The main thing of the heart is to bring the ruach, shu keli la ruach hayim, it's a keli to the ruach hayim. Ubezehu ikar hamamutza shaloi, and this is where he serves as main distributor and main mediator. Lahamshech ruach hayim beivarei aguf, to bring the spirit of life into the avarim of the guf. And take a look what we're going to have now. We're going to understand that's the job of the Jewish people, to bring the Ruach Chaim. Human beings are alive, yeah, they're alive, but Gashmi is still alive. But a Ruach Chaim, the spirit of life, that's us. Because the Jewish people serve as the heart to relieve that godly higher soul to the creation. That's where we serve as the Mamutz. This will also explain Vadugma Mezeh Yuvan Lamayla. And the example from this will be understood above. The Pchinas, by the way, this also explains the idea. The Rebbe says that a melech, and the inyan of a Rebbe, which is a melech, is that he's the heart. And he gives you your chayas. So what do you see? You can first schlepp without a Rebbe, without Chassidus, without, like tefillin, like that did that. A Rebbe turns you into a ganze, he turns you into this, you're alive. People, you meet people, this guy's doing Metzorah, this guy's putting on tefillin, you're turning over a city, you're making, you're baking, you're doing, you're hacking, and that. The tight. There's no Ruach Chaim. This Ruach Chaim comes from the Nasi. That's his inyan, to pump that life. And the example to this comes from above. Will be understood above. The Pchinas Malchus Nikra Leiv. Yehuda, want to get me a cup? I lost the cup. How can I teach without a cup? That's terrible. Now, so the Rebbe is going to explain that before he gets to explaining the Jewish people, we the Jewish people are manifestations. We're not. We are the manifestation of the Shekhinah in this world. Our root soul is the Shekhinah, which is Malchus, Sfiras HaMalchus. So he's going to explain, that's exactly. Atzilus is the brain. The Oirein Soif is the Eibishter himself. The Neshama is God. Atzilus is the Rosh, the head. Biyah, Bri, Yatzir, and Asiya, the three lower worlds, that's the body. Malchus is the heart, receiving all the energies of Atzilus, passing it on to Biyah, Bri, Yatzir, and Asiya. And he's going to explain how Malchus gives two lives to the world. One life that Malchus gives to the world is Asara Mamorais. It gives them Pashat, the Ruach Chaim, to get them alive. But then Malchus gives another Chayas, Pnimius the Chayas. It gives them a sense of the divine, a sense of the Eibishter. And it takes these creatures that were created to be a Yesh, and it brings them to be Bittel. And that's the main energy that Malchus gives to the world. Pnimius the Chayas. And that's what he's going to explain is the job of the Jewish people. It's Gavaldik. What do you do without learning all of this? You have to pay the price. You have to sit there for a few hours. You have to kratzich through until you this. But once you learn, you see, it opens up. So Vadugma Mezeh Yuvan Lamayla will be understood above. The Pchinas Malchus Nikra Leiv, Malchus is called the heart. Shehi Amamutza, she is the mediator between Oirein Soif and the Oilamois, between the Oirein Soif to the world, Hainu Bein Atzilus Libiyah, between Atzilus, which is the brain, to Bri, Yatzir, and Asiya. The Savas Oilamois, because the two things, the bringing into existence of the worlds, and then the ashpa of life in the worlds, Malchus is from Malchus. You and live and everybody. Ato we know is Malchus, because Malchus is a world of oisios. Malchus is speech, and oisios is from Aleph through Taf. That's the Alter Rebbe says. Ato is referring to Malchus. You and live everybody. We also say V'amuna kol zois v'kayam aleinu. Zois is Malchus, female. V'amuna kol zois v'kayam aleinu, and she sustains us. V'kayam aleinu. The Pchinas Malchus, who Pchinas Mekabel, Umashpia. V'amuna kol, she's Mekabel, and then she's being, I think V'amuna is that she's Mekabel from above. V'kayam aleinu is she's Mashpia down to us. Shemakabeles Matzilus, she's Mekabel from Matzilus and Mashpia Mishpas Lebiyah. And she's giving chayas to biyah. V'yesh bezeh beis madregois, and there's two levels in Malchus. B'chinas chitzonius Malchus, the external part of Malchus, hu shanas b'chinas makar lo'olamos. The rest you can plug in on Facebook with your socks off, lig in bed, in business love style, kannst du hören. V'yesh bezeh beis madregois, there's two madregois. B'chinas chitzonius Malchus, the external part of Malchus. Hu shenasa b'chinas mekar la'olamos. The outer part of Malchus is like the external, it's like the left side of the heart. That's the source of the worlds. That happens through many, that comes through many gevuros, many contractions. It's giving only array of array to the point that the creations that are receiving this energy are not aware that the energy is divine, it's godly. So it creates the worlds to be a yesh, because it's only giving the chitzonius of the Orin Sof. But the Pnimius of Malchus, who Shemeir Sham, over there it's shining, over there Malchus is receiving like the right side of the heart. It's receiving the inner essential lights of Atzilus. And for that reason, Nikras, she's called Knesses Yisroel. Knesses means she's koines. She takes in, Malchus is, she's koines, the energies of, simply the regular reason we always say that Malchus is called Knesses Yisroel is because she's the source of all of our neshamas. Lower. He's learning now that she's called Knesses Yisroel because she's Mekabel from Yisroel from above. The spheres of Atzilus are called Yisroel, and she's Mekabel koines. She's Mekabel all the energy from above, and that's the reason why she's called Yisroel. Shekoines is vaysev b'chinas oiros to Yisroel de le'ela, the oiros of Yisroel above. And now he wants to say that there's two levels. Malchus is receiving only the chitzonius and passing on to create the world. The pnimius to bring godly awareness to the world. So these are related to the two names. The name of the Eibishter that is used through Malchus to create the worlds is the name of Elokim. That's the chitzonius. Elokim is Hateva. It's Elokim is dinim, gevuros, tzimtzumim. It's the name of Elokim. Havaya is the pnimius of the Eibishter. The Eibishter, as he's not limited, not contracted, he's above it all, he's infinite, he's Ein Sof. That's Havaya. So the pnimius of the oir that Malchus is receiving, that's called Knesses Yisroel, is that she's kindness, not just the power of Elokim, but she's kindness Havaya. That's why it's called Yisroel, because Yisroel is equal with Havaya. Why? Yisroel v'araisa v'kucha b'nichu kol echad. But the Iker, because the pasuk, when was Yaakov called Yisroel? Ki sarisa im Elokim, when he prevailed over Elokim. In other words, he passed all the tzimtzumim and the gevuros of Shem Elokim, and he blasted through, and he discovered the eternal, infinite, absolute light of the Shem Havaya, and therefore Yaakov now is totally above nature, above it all. That's when he's connected to Havaya that's higher than Shem Elokim. So when Malchus is called Knesses Yisroel, what does it mean? She's koines the lights of Havaya. For what purpose? To share it, to pump it into the world. To who? To the Jewish people, who we will bring that energy to the world. Who Shem Havaya, the Shem Yisroel, because Yisroel is related to Shem Havaya. Who Hashem Kisarisa Elokim, to rules over Elokim. Shemoishel v'shoylet al Shem Elokim, rules over the name of Elokim. B'hainu Shem Havaya, the name Havaya. Shalamayla Hashem Elokim, that's above name of Elokim. V'zeu Knesses Yisroel, this is the idea of Knesses Yisroel. Shemekabela, she receives Mishem Havaya from the name Havaya. And Havaya is be'ikar in Chachma. That means where we receive Havaya b'Chachma. Even though Havaya is the entire world of Atzilus is filled with the name of Havaya, with be'ikar, we know that the main dominating force in Atzilus is Chachma. Bina is in Bria. And so Shem Havaya is a Chachma. And what's Chachma? Bittul. That means when you receive Havaya energy, and what does it mean? You're bringing bittul into the world. So there's two opposite inyanim that are coming from Malchus. One level coming from Malchus is it's creating the yeshus of the world. It's creating the world to be a somebody, and then it's introducing an opposite, an ability to make that yesh be bottled to its source by experiencing this Havaya light that's higher. The Hine, as he explains, the chitzonius of Malchus, that from there it's giving life to enliven the worlds. It's individual, it's shirish of its individual pratius, bina. The highest that it's receiving to give life to the world is be'ikr from bina. Ikr yedua, as it is known, the ikr makar hishtalshalus mebchenas bina. The main power of Ishtalshalus, which Ishtalshalus is, step by step, contracted is, That's from Bina. Aber Pnimius HaMalchus, the Pnimius HaMalchus, who shemeir sham b'chinas atzmiyus ha'or da'atzilus, the essential lights of Atzilus, the hainu b'chinas chachma, which that's from chachma. V'gam zeh nimshach la'olam ha'is. This is not stam for Malchus' sake for herself. This too is given to Malchus so she can distribute this and imbue this into the olam ha'is. For hu liyos b'chinas ha'bittel ba'olam ha'is. This is in order to make the olam ha'is have bittel. The mechitzonius HaMalchus from the external part of Malchus, who is havus ha'yeshus, that creates the yeshus. V'hametzius shel ha'olam ha'is. That makes the olam ha'is be a yesh, be something. From the Pnimius, who shenimshach li is bittel hayesh. This is what brings the yesh to be bittel. V'habittel hu, and what's the bittel? Shemebchinas chachma. Chachma is bittel, like it says, chachma is koyach ma, the power of bittel. Kamoisha kasav. And in bringing the proof that chachma has so much power that it can enter into a world of yesh and over there bring bittel. So where do you see that? It says, v'hachachma ta'uz lechacham. Chachma gives strength to the wise man. It's a pasuk. Chachma gives strength to the wise man. Yoser ma'asara shlitim, more than 10 rulers. The strength that a wise man gets from wisdom is more than having the strength of 10 rulers. What does that mean? Asha be'ir, that's in the city. The asara shlitim, more than 10 rulers. Hein asara mamoros. The 10 rulers are the 10 dominating forces in creation. That's the speech. Those are the 10 mamoris. That's coming from when the Eibishter did mamoris is Vayomer Elikim. It's only Shem Elikim, the name of Elikim. It's the external element of the Orein Soif. Very, 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 very diluted. Very, very weak. And therefore, what does it create? It creates worlds that take themselves seriously. Worlds that become a yesh. Mekoires Havos, it's the source of his Havos. V'hachachma, and then the Chachma has the power to dominate over this. Toz l'chacham yoiser. The Chachma gives vigor and strength to the Chacham even more. There's bittul hayesh, for there to be bittul hayesh. U'benivrohim, and by the creations. And now, how does this translate into these two forces, these two dynamics? He says you'll see actually in the creations themselves. In one pasuk it says, "B'dvar Hashem shamayim nasu," that the Eibishter creates the world with Dvar Hashem, with His words. There's another pasuk that says, "Kol asher chafetz Hashem asa," whatever God desired, He made. So Chassidus takes it very literally. Chassidus asked the question: was the creation affected by God's speech, like Bapashtas, or did the Eibishter create the world through just wanting it without speaking it? So Chassidus says it's a combination. Because when you look at the creations, you see that in every creature there is the substance of what the Eibishter made, and then there is the design that it has. So when the Eibishter spoke and he said, "Let there be trees," the Eibishter didn't say exactly what trees should look like. He said, "Let there something should grow forth." It could have been a million other ways. The fact that a tree looks exactly like it is, it has a brown, hard bark, and then it comes out in beautiful branches like this, and then the green colors and all this, that was never spoken, that the Eibishter just desired it that way. And that so comes out that during creation there were two dynamics that were playing together. One was the speech, which brought about the actual physical material, the matter, and the design of everything is the ratzeh. And therefore, what does that do? Dibur, the whole notion of dibur, the notion of speech, is to communicate to someone who is not you. That's the idea of speech. Desire is something that's, you're experiencing it in yourself. If you want something, no one else senses that. Speech is to communicate to others. When the Eibishter created an interesting thing. When the Eibishter created the world through two powers, one of Dibur and one of... So the power of Dibur makes the world be a yesh, makes the world experience itself outside of God. And the power that the Eibishter didn't finish the creation only with Dibur, but within the creation itself, He created some of it as it's responding to His Ratzain. He's making the world still be tuned into Him as if it's part of Him. That's the bittul of the world, feeling that it's still part of the Eibishter and not something independent. So this, because part of Him. So that's the Ratzain and the Dibur, working together. Ibn Evron, who is Havas Chaimer Anivra, the creation of the Chaimer, the substance of the creation, Shazel Mepchenes Chitzonius Amalchus, that comes from the Chitzonius Amalchus, for who Inyan Bidvar Hashem Shemayim Nasu. Rastaram Amoris, the speech. Omnam is Havas Atzura, but to create the design, Sheben Evra. Ukemoisha Shemayim Em Kedurim, the fact that the heavens are a sphere, they're round. The Aretz Gamkin Keduri, and the earth is also round. The Eibishter could have made the earth flat. He made it round. The Yesh Hefresh Ba'oifen HaKedurius. And the roundness of the earth is different than the roundness of the skies. The Yesh, and then there are creatures Shebekayim Kfufa, that go bent like animals. They crawl on four. The Yesh Shebekayim Skufa. And then there are animals, or people at least, that go upright. And even animals there are like gorillas who are halfway upright. So you have camels that are just on two. So you have animals that are up, and there are animals that are down. This is all because of the spiritual tzura that's there. That Hashem created it through chayfetz. And what does this do to the creations who are bittul sheben Evrahim? This brings bittul to the creations. In the Dibur HaMaschal Mezuzah B'Yamin, over there the Alter Rebbe explains these two functions, these two powers that there is in creation. And now we'll understand why the Malchus is called Leiv. This is the mediator. It's here to draw down the light and the life force. What did we say before? The Ikar Inyan of the heart is not to pump the blood. That's the Ikar, the liver. The Ikar Inyan of the heart is what? To bring the higher Ruach HaChayim. So this is the Chachma Ba'olamois. Lios B'chenas HaBittel, to bring Bittel into the world. So just like it is Malchus' job to do that. Nishmas Yisroel Lamata. Yidden down here. Nikra Knesses Yisroel. We're also called Knesses Yisroel, because we too are meant to capture Shem Havaya. That's why a Yid is also supposed to bring the world the idea that nature, don't take nature so seriously. Miracles happen, Ashkacha Pratis, everything is there. It's not fixed. Things are not there. Shehen Kalim Legilu Shem Havaya. Yidden are Kalim for the revelation of Shem Havaya. Take even for example the idea that they're now celebrating the 70 years. It's like one of the things that the whole world is mesmerized is by the idea what happened. No other country in 70 years did what they did. We're one of the leading countries in everything. It doesn't make any sense. And it was a country that was attacked more than anybody else, that had to defend itself more than anybody else, and at the same time prospered more than anybody else. The whole thing is ridiculous. So the whole world becomes aware that there are powers that are beyond nature that are there. This awareness of God comes to the world through Israel. Shem Kalim Legiloi Shem Havaya. The Yidden are a Keli to the Shem Havaya. Ta Hashpa v'Amshocha the Shem Havaya. Ta Hashpa and Amshocha of Shem Nimshach v'Niklat b'Nishmas Yisrael. Jews get it. Their neshamas are able to absorb this higher transcendental light. Shem Kalim Ela Giloi, and therefore their job is bittul. That's why the Eibishter gave us a life of bittul. A guy, leptzach hashveltov, he eats whatever he wants, he does whatever he wants. A Jew, every minute has to be bottled to the Eibishter. Now he has to do this. Well, because that's our job. Our job is to pump bittul into the world. Because we, remember what did he say? Malchus receives the chitzonius of the oir and the panemius of the oir. So he's saying, and in Malchus itself, there's two parts to Malchus. The chitzonius of Malchus, of the Keli, receives the chitzonius of the light. The panemius of the Keli, of Malchus, receives the panemius of the light. Now in Malchus, where are we rooted? The Jewish neshamas, in the panemius of the Keli. So we're able to receive the panemius of the light, which others are not shaykh to. Kishayrish, and the world, even the malachim are part of the chitzonius. Kishayrish ha-neshamas mebchenes panemius ha-kelim. The shayrish of the neshamas are from the innermost of the kelim. Shazeu mohus va'atzmus ha-keli, which is the Keli as it stands for itself. The Malachim, v'chol ha-nevraim, the angels and all the creations, Sharsham, their root is Mebchenes Chitzonius ha-Keli. They come from the external part of the Keli. She'ein za'atzmas ha-Keli, which the external part of the Keli is not the essence of the Keli. Kiyam la'ashpia chutz la'atzmusa. The whole idea of it, the external part of the Keli, is for the outside. Sha'oira nimshach bo b'chinas ha'ara da'ara lavad, which is the light that goes for the outside is only a ray. Avol pnimius ha'keli, the inner of the keli, zeh b'chinas mohus va'atzmas ha'keli, this is the essence of the keli itself. Shu keli lekabbalah, it's a keli to receive. Shemis achad b'zeh b'chinas pnimius va'atzmas ha'or. So the inner element of the light is misachid and unifies with the inner part of the keli. V'nishmas Yisroel and souls of Israel. Shashar shama b'chinas pnimius ha'kelim, and Jewish neshamas which are rooted in the pnimius of the kelim. Al kenem kelim l'shem havaya. They dafka are kelim to the shem havaya, the havaya b'chachma, which havaya is in chachma. Hainu shehem kelim lahagilui de b'chinas chachma. They're kelim to the gilui of b'chinas chachma. What does chachma have to do with pnimius and essence of the kelim? Ubechachma shayra oirein soif. We'll see in a minute. And in chachma is shayra the pnimius of the oirein soif. The oirein soif shebechachma, and the oirein soif that's in chachma, hu b'chinas atzmos oirein soif, is the essence of the ein soif. The shayrish eshavas oilamois, because the root of the eshavas of the worlds, ma'oirein soif, everything is created from the oirein soif. Ad reish, ma'oirein soif, ad, I think it's supposed to be ad soif kol dargin would make more sense, but it says Rosh Kol Dargin, the beginning of all levels. Hakolu b'chinas chitzonius oirein soif. That's all the chitzonius of the oirein soif. But for oirein soif shebe b'chinas hachachma, but the oirein soif that comes into chachma, hu b'chinas pnimius va'atzmos ein soif, is the innermost and the essence. The Eibishter basically himself reveals himself in chachma. Tehine, for behold, chachma hu b'chinas atzmi. Here's where the Rebbe Rashab gets into his own kind of descriptions of things. This is like, here's where you see the real Rebbe Rashab's. Chachma is the inyan of atzmi. Kenoida hafresh ben chachma bina. Like it is known the difference between chachma and bina. The bina b'chinas is pashtus. The element of bina is always the hispashtus. Let's understand it simply. When you're perceiving a concept, the chachma is the essence of the idea. The bina is you describing the idea. The bina is already descriptions. Descriptions are always already not the essence. If you see something, you saw the essence. If you're describing its characteristics, it's not the essence. Bina is typhus everything in its hispashtus. Bina grasps everything in its descriptions, in its hispashtus. Chachma is able to receive the essence of everything. V'chachma b'chinas atzmi. V'agam d'chachma yesh l'gam kei makor shenimtza mimenu. Now, even though chachma also has a makor, so it's also an hispashtus. Chachma is not original. Chachma has a source. The oirein soif. Ultimately, chachma comes from keser. So it has a source. So how can you say it's an atzmi? An atzmi means something that is be'etzem. Chachma, but the way chachma, the Eibishter brings chachma about, is in a manner that the chachma should not be an hispashtus of something, but that the chachma should be an atzmiistic thing. Which, that kind of experience can be a negative thing. Because when you're creating something to be an atzmiistic thing means it's totally not sensing its source. It's its own original thing. Hitaka brings the example of that. He explains that when the Eibishter created physicality, the Eibishter creates physicality in a way that he makes physicality be an atzmi. Atzmi meaning it doesn't feel like it's just rays of something. It's an energy of something. It's its own thing. But in the physical, this inyan is a negative thing. Why? Because it's the ultimate disconnect from God. Is that we don't feel like we're in a spashtus, but we're like a self-independent kind of an inyan. But let's what he explains. But by chachma, it's not that way. Chachma comes from its source, b'pchinas davar atzmi, in a manner of it being a davar atzmi. She'eino b'chinas hispashtus mimekayra. Chachma does not experience it itself being an hispashtus from its source. It comes from its source, b'pchinas atzmi, in an atzmiistic state. The Yuvan said, this will be understood. Al derech eshavus hayesh, similar to when the yesh comes into being. Maayon eliki, from the godly ayin, from the nothingness of keser, and chachma is that first flash, but chachma emerges in a manner b'pchinas davar atzmi. What does that mean? Like, not chachma, I'm sorry. He's talking about the way Gashmias comes into existence, to be a davar atzmi. Like it says in Ageres HaKodesh Siman Chav, we're learning on the holding now on the last page that we're going to learn today. Sheneshav v'yesh me'ayin, that the Gashmiistic world was created something from nothing. The efes hamuchlet, from absolute nothingness. B'li shum eila v'siba acheres, without any cause. Kodemes liyash hazeh, any cause that precedes this yesh. U'ma'achar shehu b'li shum eila v'siba. When something doesn't experience any source or any cause, it just is like a rock. It just is. What's it? It is. That's called an atzmi. A ray of light is not an atzmi, because you immediately look at the light, you know that it's just a ray. An atzmi is something that has its own substantial thing. It's not dependent on anything. It exists from within itself. Harei k'moy davar atzmi. The il of the olol, whenever you have cause and effect, harei olol hu is pashtus ma'ela. The olol is an espashtus. The effect is an espashtus, is an expansion from the cause. Avol yesh me'ayin, but something from nothing, ein ze espashtus, is not like a diffusing, an expansion, ki im shenivra k'davar atzmi. It's created to be a davar atzmi. V'hainu b'pchinas metzias davar, for it to be a metzias of something. Ubesifra shel beinim chelik beis. But in truth, the Rebbe Rashab says, in Tanya Perik Beis, he says, Kosef, Shahanevroim are not that. Nevroim are not a substantial thing. What are Nevroim? Henispashtis ha'ara me'ayin ha'mahavoisam. There is an ayin, there is God, there is the divine energy, which is ayin, because we can't see it, touch it, smell it, know what it is, and it is sending rays, and its rays, that's the creations. Creations are nothing more, including a rock. It's nothing more than the rays of the Dvar Havaya that's creating it. Right? Oh, so it really is an espashtus. But that's from the way God is looking at it. But from the way it's experienced to the Nivra, it's created to be an atzmi. That's according to the truth of the matter. Sha'nivra eino yesh. The Nivra is not a real yesh. The only real yesh is the Eibishter. Ki em ayin, he's really nothing. Hareyu espashtus levad me'makoyrei. He's only an espashtus. Avo bezeshen es hava lius b'pchinas yesh. But in the manner that the Eibishter created it, that it should feel itself in a manner of a yesh, eino yespashtus ki em davar atzmi. It's created for it to be a davar atzmi, for being an entity on its own. And the same is also the coming into being of all vessels. That's the difference between vessels and oir. Vessels, all the containers, all the vessels, and oir. Oir, all the oiros, all the lights that are in all spheres, they all project the idea that they're just a projection. But a keli is an entity. It's already a metzias. The oir who is pashtus ha'ara, b'chinas giloi mina etzem. It's a giloi from the etzem. Avala kelim eino b'chinas giloi. They're not a giloi mimakoyra. Ki em eshavas davar b'chinas davar atzmi. They are to be felt as a davar atzmi. Ukemoi keina chachma neshava mimakoyra b'chinas atzmi. It says in Atzilus the only real yesh me'ayin is chachma. From chachma to bina, it's already his pashtus. Ila v'yolo. Ubachachmo. But the difference is. The difference over here is only one difference. Till now we're saying this concept it's a concept in what? In Gashmias of this world and in Caleb. But there we understand, but that is a certain negativity. What's the negativity? Because it's etzem, but it's an etzem it's yeshus. It's an etzem that denies the Eibishter. But b'chachma, even though chachma is not a keli, chachma is hardly any keli in chachma. Chachma is oyer. It's an atzmiyastig oyer, not atzmiyastig keli. Hu bechachma hu bepchinas oyer. The same idea, but in a level of oyer. The beishavus hayesh, in the ishavus of yesh, v'chein beishavus hakelim, in the ishavus of kelim, hu bepchinas hametzius. When they become something, they become a metzius. They become something. Hu bechachma hu bepchinas oyer. It's an atzmi in a manner of light. Oh, but what does that mean? It's not a light that's an espashtus kiyam oir shuhu etzem. Now what in the world does that mean? By definition, light is what? a ray. It's not light. It's not light that is. Yeah, but the sun is not oir. The sun is more. That's a different story. Chochmah is oir, but it's not an oir that's in his pashtus. It's in his. What does it mean? So let's see. Basically, its beingness and its essence is its bittul. That's its essence. Which is the character of light, not the character of Keli. Character of Keli is what? Metzius, Yeshus, Keli. The character of Oir is bittul. But this is not a hispashtus diga bittul, it's an atzmius diga bittul. He's bottle be'etzem. V'chein ha-bittul de-chachma. Hu atzmi. Hainu mohus atzmi. It's an essential. The chachma ubchenas bittul. Chachma is bittul. V'loi ava. It's not love. The ava ain't a bittul. Love is never bittul. Because what's love? I love. The yashmi sha'ayev. I love. The chachma ubchenas bittul. Chachma is bittul. But he says, what's the difference between an atzmius diga bittul and a hispashtus diga bittul? So he explains something very geschmack over here. Va'bittul de chachma hu mohus habittul. It's a bittul of essential bittul. It's this very, very substance is a substance of bittul. V'hainu loishem is battle me'eze davar. He doesn't become battle from something. B'bchinas heder tvisis makim. When you put something very small next to something very big, the small thing feels itself like nothing. But it only feels itself in nothing. It's inspired to nothingness. It's inspired to nothingness by being in the proximity of something huge and great. But you take away that thing, he's be'etzem as somebody. Their idea to be nothing in front of, it's like the story that is told by what's it called again? The poor man, the Yidden Shul, the Yom Kippur. And he went over to the rich man and he asked him, the guy was giving out tabik, the Reiche Yidden, they used to have the snuff boxes. And they would give tabik. So the guy, the schlepper in the shul, the guy was like the real, the ultimate loser, everybody keeps away from him, comes over and he wants to stick his hand into the guy's tabik. It's Yom Kippur. The guy gets angry at him, he yells at him, "You get out of here, who do you think you're..." So this poor man musters up the courage. And he said, I just saw you davening, and you just finished saying, Afarani, I am earth, I am nothing. I'm a nobody, I'm nothing. I'm a keli full of shame, full of shanda, full of everything. So you're a nobody and yell at me? He says, to the Eibishter I'm a nobody, to you? So that's the problem. It's a relative nothingness. So that's why there's two types of humble people. There's some person who's humbled, but they're humbled because they're thinking about the Eibishter, or they're inspired to humility by comparing themselves to other things that are greater. And then there is someone who's be'etzem, totally not. Like a poor man who's crushed, who never has someone who always sees himself like, I'm saying that's a shuffle be'etzem. Yeah, no, but I'm saying bittul mitzias. There are people that are humbled, but they're humbled because of other people's achievements, other things. Then there are people who just be'etzem, they're crushed. They don't ever have a sense of importance to they'll always shy in the back. Never. That's an etz atzmius diga. Their gever of who they are is that they're bottle, and they're shuffle in their own eyes. So he says, Keser says it's bottle. Why? It says Keser, even though it's so bright, in front of the cause of all causes, it's black. Shazau Shem is bottle, he becomes bottle, like a chassid comes before the Rebbe, he becomes bottle in front of the Rebbe. Kadam Eilas Eilas. Umemela. Habittel bezer, hu b'chenes ispashtas levad. It's not an essential bittel. It's only a spashtas dig a bittel. Hagam the bittel the added tfisus makim. Now, even though we're talking about a very strong bittel, he doesn't have any space for himself. Hugam came be'etzem amahus. He feels totally like a person in front of a very big tzaddik. You feel utterly like who? You feel so nothing. It's not completely bottle. Like a small person to a big person. Hagam is battle be'etzem, even though it becomes battle in his essence. It's only when he's close to him. When he goes away and he goes to his own town, he becomes a ganz deyazager. He becomes a whole metzias. It's not that he's be'etzem battle. The bittul, the header, markem beklalis, who bittul is pashtus. It's a bittul, but it's a bittul of your hispashtus. It's not your bittul of your essence. The bittul of chachma, who mehus habittul. It's the very essence of bittul. V'yesh loymar, the kamoy b'chenes pnimius hakeser, just like the innermost of keser. B'chenes lo yada hainu she'enoi b'chenes mohus yedua ba'atzmoi. The deepest, highest level of keser is called lo yada, means it doesn't even know itself. It's not like it just doesn't have any knowledge of itself, meaning it's totally batul. This inyan of the essence of Keser, that's essentially nothing, was transported into a being who lives amongst the other Netzalim. But what is his Metzias? Is a Metzias of Bittul. It's like a Jew who's transported into this world to be a Metzias. But what's his Metzias? He's a Metzias of Bittul, not a Metzias of Yash. It's a whole different. It's an essence of bittul, not a. Well, if he's a yesh loymar, based on this we can explain. And here he explains something very deep in Tanya. The Masha Kosta B'Sifra Shalbeinin in Perek Lamed Hey. It says in Tanya, chapter 35, Ba'agah, Hu levadei hu ve'ein zulasei, that God Himself is and there's none but Him. V'zuhu madreges hachachma. The madrega of chachma is the way I always understood it is. The madrega of Chachma is that it perceives how God is and there's nothing but God. And that's why Chachma has no Metzias. Because the whole Metzias, the whole experience of Chachma is that He alone is. It perceives what's its Metzias? It perceives the emes that Hu levadei hu ve'ein zulazeh. That's how I always understood it. Chachma is the mere keli to perceive the truth is that God is and there's none but Him. That means its entire identity is that there's none but Him. Oh, but I always understood it, and the way everybody understands it, is it's a keli to receive this inyan. But the fact that it's a keli, it's a something. He says no. It's not a keli to receive this knowledge. It is the knowledge itself. What is chachma? The knowledge itself that not the reaction to that knowledge. The knowledge itself that hu levadei hu ve'ein, that's the whole mitzvah of chachma. He is. So it's Hainu shachachma hu adeya hal yoina. It is the deya. Hainu loida kabitul shal yadeya. Not the reaction. Okay, since the Eibush is, I'm going to be batal. The hadeya, it's shal yadeya hayediya dal yadeya yoina. It's not that the bittul that comes through the knowledge of the higher knowledge. Kiyim shazeu adeya al yoina itself. It's the etzem essential yediya that there's none but Him. Come on, and that's what it is. Come on, shekazim makamach. It's a mohus of bittul, it's an absolute bittul. And since chachma is atzmi, v'habitulu atzmi, and its bittul is atzmi, for that reason, the ein soif that encloses itself in chachma, hu b'chinas atzmus ein soif. That's why chachma doesn't receive the hispashtus of the ein sof. It receives the essence of the Ein Sof itself. The davar shehu atzmi, someone that's an atzmi, harei makabel b'chenas atzmi, receives the essence. The Alter Rebbe, for example, was received the essence of the Magid, not the hispashtus of the Magid, the essence of the Magid, because the Alter Rebbe is an atzmi. Everything that's an atzmi receives the essence of everything. The makabel she'enei atzmi, or makabel that himself is not an atzmi, Makabel Ashpa Shu B'chenas Hispashtus Ha'ara Levad is also only receiving always the hispashtus of something, the excitement of something, the ha'ara of something, but not its essence. Aval Davar Atzmi, but in essence, Makabel B'chenas Etzem receives the Etzem Umis'atzim Boi, and it becomes unified with him. Ukemoi Bashpa Atzmius, for example, like in a husband and a wife, it says that a teacher can be mashpia two hashpas. One hashpa, a teacher is mashpia. Sorry, there's two hashpas that a person can be mashpia. One, and both of them are the hashpa of his moichen. One of them is the hashpa of seichel. A teacher teaches a class, seichel. That's from the brain. There's another hashpa, a father creating a child. So he's being mashpia the essence of his brain. What's the difference? When you're mashpia information, you're not mashpia etzem. You're mashpia ideas, spashtas. But when you're creating a child, you're giving your child is having your brain. He's having your essence. Your etzem ha-moyach is going to your child. But to who can you be mashpia your etzem? To students you can't. Because the students are not you. Only someone who is pchelik of your etzem. Etzem can receive etzem. Who's that? That's your wife. A husband and a wife are one etzem. It says that's when the Eibishter created Adam and Chava, he created them as one entity. And we also know spiritually every husband and wife are really one. HaKabbalah atzmius. Then the Kabbalah is essence. Which is not essence. That's the reason of Chachma, which is essence. That's why the Ein Sof that's draw, hu b'chinas atzmus Ein Sof. And the Nishmas Yisroel and the Shamas of Yidden, hem kelim l'b'chinas ha-Chachma v'Ein Sof sheb'Chachma. And they can really receive the essence of the Eibishter inside of them. The Neshamas hem gam kein b'chinas atzmi, because Neshamas are also of the essence. K'mo shekasav bonim atam, a child is your essence. Hashem Elokeichem. V'rei abenu atzmi shala'ab is the essence of the Father. Lo rak espashtus mimenu, not an expansion of the Father. K'mo ken Neshamas hem b'chinas atzmis. Al kein hem kelim l'b'chinas ha-Chachma. They're kelim to Chachma, not just to Bina. Bina is only espashtus, descriptions. U'b'chinas atzmis Ein Sof sheb'Chachma. And the essence of the Ein Sof that's in Chachma. V'zeu the Nishmas Yisroel and b'chinas bittul atzmi. That's why Neshamas have the capacity of essential bittul. Not just inspirational bittul, in essential bittul. Like it says, Ki atem ha-ma'at, you are small, mikol ha'amim, from all the nations, you are ma'at, your essence is ma'at. Shemamatem es atzman, you make yourself small, shezau rach b'nishmas Yisrael. Sheyesh b'hem bittul atzmi, they have an essential bittul to the Eibishter. U'kemoy ken ha-neshama mitzad atzmai, hu b'b'chinas riyas mohus telakus. That's why a neshama can see the substance of God. The inyan ha-hasaga, the neshama, this that a neshama has hasaga, what's hasaga? Hasaga is describing, grasping, and every grasping is by grasping through descriptions. So even though a neshama has hasaga, the whole avoid of moichen and learning, that's not for your neshama itself. That's for the neshama to explain it to your nefesh bahamis. The nefesh bahamis needs descriptions because it's not an atzmi. But the neshama has riyah, it sees the essence, because it is essence. It sees the essence. The inyan hasaga, the neshama urak b'chtei lifal ba nefesh bahamis, is only to affect the animal soul. In order to show it to the nefesh bahamis. Why they are saga dafka. That's dafka through hasaga. Aval neshama mitzad atzma ikro b'chinas his amtus. The main thing of the neshama is that the Eibishter becomes very real, is real by the neshama. It's emes, it's his amtus, it's absolutely emes by you. And seeing the substance of the divine. That's why in the end we will see with our eyes. And that's why also the love that comes as a result of that also comes from the Ein Sof of Chachma. The main godliness of the neshama is its ability to have Re'usa Daliba, a love to the Eibishter that's believable. Dafka neshamas have this. Loi b'nivroim, not by creations. The gam malachim, even malachim, ha'ava shalahem, their love, hu b'madreges b'chol levavcha b'chol nafshecha, of all your heart and all your soul. Va'avada b'chol ma'oitcha, which means believable. Hu b'neshamas lavad is only by neshamas. U'lechein ha'malachim nikra oimdim. That's where malachim are called stationary beings. Their love is limited, and the shamas and the shamas are mobile beings. The shamas are on a whole different plane. They are kalim to the element, to the idea of chachma, ubchinas ein soif sheba chachma, and the ein soif that's in chachma chulu. Now he's going to continue. Okay, but he's saying in the next sif, which we're not going to learn this week, this is all when a neshama doesn't block, doesn't clog his heart. Every person has this be'etzem. This is going to be ish. This is not even adam. This is the ability to have that ish to be a heart. The heart is fire. To have the ish, to be able to receive this light. But if you clog the heart with stuff, then the person stops functioning and he doesn't sense this higher truth. And then he lives in yeshus and not in bittul. And then he can't. That's called enosh. So you need avoid of Gever to take you out of enosh and make you into an ish. But even when you already do redeem your heart and you are experiencing this havaya and you're a keli to this, you're still an ish, you're not yet moichin de gadlus. And you can still go bald. To be a adam is still a lot of work after that. Basically, anybody thinks that they're going to be bored, not going to have what to do in terms of avodah, they should know that there's still a lot to work on. A lot to work on. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. This last piece of atzmi and stuff needs much more depth of understanding. It's the etzem of the oyer being transported into it's the etzem. No, it's the etzem of oyer. It's not a aura. A aura is the espashtus, but it's oyer. It's not mo'er. So it's like the essential mo'er. It's the mo'er conveying itself as it is, and that conveyance, that's the chachma. But it's not the etzem as the etzem is in the etzem, that's the mo'er. It's not even something like that. It's not an oyer, it's not an espashtus. Yeah. Okay, you got your work cut out for you. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Have a good week. Oy.